brings home field advantage. But tonight, they welcome a Tiger of a different stripe. It's number 17 Auburn against number 4 LSU. Tigers versus Tigers.
There's magic in the transformation. From the complicated world outside to the simple system in here. Where success depends on letting your instincts out, protecting your ground by hunting your prey. It's so basic. Two teams fighting for the same goals, reaching for the same stars. This stadium is enchanted on nights like this. There's something supernatural when desire is let loose in one place. Must-wins for both schools to stay in the hunt in the SEC West and for bigger prizes to come. They transform in Baton Rouge when Tigers meet Tigers. Auburn versus LSU.
Time is brought to you by Hampton Hotels. A Saturday night game at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. The most electric atmosphere anywhere in football, and a place where the Tigers have won a remarkable 24 games in a row. Auburn, LSU, and Alabama all tied with just one loss at the top of the SEC West. The winner of tonight's game will still control its own destiny, and in 5 of the last 7 years, the team that won this game has gone on to win the SEC West. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick, Todd Blackledge. It's great to have you with us. We all know what a huge game this is, especially after LSU stumbled a week ago. But, partner, what kind of a game are we going to see?
Well, recent history would suggest that it's going to be close, low scoring, and dominated by defense. And why not? These two teams are ranked 1 and 2 in the SEC in total and scoring defense. And they're led by two of the brightest young coordinators in all of college football. Bo Pelini of LSU, Will Muschamp in his second year at Auburn. Ironically, he was the coordinator at LSU for 4 years before Pelini took over. I guarantee you it will be physical beyond belief.
I guarantee you one other thing. It's going to be loud. Here comes LSU as they touch the win crossbar that was used here for 30 years. They know how to celebrate down here at LSU, and tonight, multiple chances to party on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2.
The best. Now you're being put to the test. Welcome to the Terror Dome. Now you're on your own. We gon' see who regulates and who gets to celebrate. I just wanna celebrate. I wanna celebrate. I just wanna celebrate. Yeah.
Welcome back to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This has been a tight series tonight, the 42nd meeting overall. The home team has won 5 of the last 7 games, and the winner of 5 of the last 7, the home game has won the last 7. 5 of the last 7 have gone on to win the SEC West, and they are usually very, very close. Holly Rowe will work the sidelines for us. Let's check in with her right now.
Well, Mike, this crowd is going to love the bigger role that wide receiver Early Doucette will play tonight for LSU. He's scheduled to be much more of the game plan. He's coming back from a severe groin injury that's kept him out for most of the game since September 8th. We went to practice Thursday. He was heavily involved, and Les Miles said it's important because he brings a whole new demeanor to their receiving corps. Now for Auburn, guys, they have suspended wide receiver Robert Dunn. He did not make the trip, a violation of practice procedure. Guys, where it really hurts them is in their punt return game. They will have a true freshman back there, Chris Slaughter, receiving punts for the first time ever in a game. I can't think of a more intimidating place to start with your first punt return than right here in Death Valley.
And Holly, it's such a big deal because in a game like this, special teams could be the decider.
Right, special teams, and Robert Dunn was the guy who made the key catch in their win last week at Arkansas, a 30-yard catch and run on their game-winning drive.
Auburn has been brilliant on the road under Tommy Tuberville. LSU has been exceptional virtually everywhere, but especially at home under Les Miles.
One thing Tommy Tuberville told me to keep an eye out for, they might have a few little different wrinkles in their kickoff return. We'll have to wait and see when he feels comfortable with doing something, but both of these coaches known to take some risks and not afraid to gamble a little bit.
Tuberville, 9 of the last 10 games against teams in the top 10 he has won. Crutchfield to kick off. Fannin and Lester are deep for Auburn. Taken by one of the up men across the 35 to the 37-yard line. To tell us about the Auburn offense, here's Brandon Cox.
Starting in the backfield, we have at fullback, violinist Carl Stewart. At tight end, some of you might know him from World of Warcraft, Cole Bennett. And at receiver, my go-to guy, Rod Smith. And up front, at left guard, we have Happy Meal, Tyrone Green. And the leader of the guys up front, number 68, Jason Boswell.
I think Auburn's going to come out throwing in this ball game to try to loosen up this LSU defense. Brandon Cox has to get rid of the football.
He can expect to be hammered by this LSU defense. He has been hammered all year long, for that matter. And to tell us about that LSU defense, here's David Toms.
The LSU defense is tougher than the 17th at Sawgrass. The D-line features Glenn Putt Dorsey and Tyson the Predator Jackson. Our linebacking core is a veteran group anchored by Ali Highsmith. Our defensive backs have a couple of good ones in Craig Wardaddy Stelz and Shevis Smooth Jackson.
David Toms, a longtime member of the PGA Tour and a winner of the PGA Championship, his one major. That pass intended for Rodriguez Smith, and Shevis Jackson was right there to knock it away.
Yeah, Shevis Jackson read that play very quickly. He saw the short three-step drop by Brandon Cox. He broke on the slant route and was right on it. And this is not a situation that Auburn wants to be in too much. Third and long. They were 1 of 13 on third downs last week, and coming into this game, last in the SEC in third down conversion.
Tim Hawthorne is on the field. He is going to replace Dunn as the slot receiver tonight. Cox back to throw. Outstanding protection. Can't find anybody, then gets it to Smith. And if they give him his forward progress, he's going to have the first down at the 47-yard line.
Well, you mentioned the protection, and you give a quarterback that's accurate like Brandon Cox this kind of time, and he's going to find guys. It's only a three-man rush. Not nearly enough pressure on Brandon Cox, and he's able to finally find Rod Smith opening up in the middle of that zone defense.
Smith with 28 catches this year, and Brandon Cox has overcome a shaky start this year to really start putting up some good numbers, particularly at the end of ball games. He has been lights out when they had to have him. Lester, the tailback. Little running room, will pick up 5, maybe 6. Behind a block of Carl Stewart. Glenn Dorsey, the All-American, made the tackle. Lester missed more than a third of the season with an injury, and since he's come back, that gives them 3 really good running backs.
Well, and he is a guy that gives them a different dimension. He's good in space. He can make people miss. He's hard to tackle in space, and he's a good receiver. I think we're going to see a lot more of Brad Lester against this LSU defense tonight than we've seen in the last couple weeks.
LSU was knocked around by Kentucky in the second half. Gave up more yardage than they had all year. They still have, statistically, the #2 defense in the entire country. Lester on the toss. Cuts it back, trying to get to the first down sticks. and just a little bit shy. Had a good block by Tyrone Green and Chaz Ramsey as both guards pulled to the left. And Dorsey comes up limping a little bit.
This defense played 95 plays last week in Lexington. Glenn Dorsey played every defensive snap. And they have an off week next week. They've had a good week of practice. They did take a little time off to rest their legs, but they got to go full out tonight.
Third, less than a yard. Only one wide receiver, two tight ends. Lester got a good lead block, but fell, and I think he's short.
Going to depend on the spot because he did fall down. It's just a matter of where they give the spot. It looks like from our vantage point in that little yellow line that he barely has it.
Stewart was blocking Highsmith, and there is the further injury to Dorsey, who is now down, and you saw him touching his left hamstring. This guy gives 100% every down he plays out there, and it was such a huge bonus as they get the first down on the measurement. Such a huge bonus for him to come back this year. He was a lock, first-round draft choice. Coming back this year, he may be the overall first draft choice.
Well, this was 2 plays ago. He gets in the gap, and in his pursuit, he reaches for that left hamstring. And he stayed in the game and played one more play. And here's the last play as he pushes off. And right away, I mean, he's reaching for his left hamstring. And that seems to be the problem for the big guy right now.
And that'll bring Al Woods, number 97, in on the defensive line in his place to play next to Favorite. Cox, good play fake. Throws to Lester out of the backfield. Lester stood up and dives forward on second effort down to the 30, where Highsmith makes the tackle again. Lester's a tough kid.
Yes, he is. He's a hard guy to tackle. Very effective in space coming out of the backfield. You know, the last 3 games now, Auburn has scored on their opening possession, and they've averaged over 12 plays in those possessions, eating up time, scoring touchdowns, and they're into a very impressive first drive here.
They seem to score in their first possession and their last possession to win the ballgame. Lester again, picking his way through tacklers. And this looks basically like the second half against Kentucky, where they're able to move some of these guys on this great defense out of the way.
And they're doing it just by playing power football. They've got a fullback in the game. He's the lead blocker. Lee Zimba, the freshman right tackle who plays well beyond his years, out leading that play, an outstanding block. And they're taking it right to the LSU defense.
Yes, they are. And it's a very young offensive line, and we have seen them grow by leaps and bounds throughout this season. Tate is in as the new running back to give Lester a breather. Tate got to the 26 and pushed back. Holly Rowe has an update on the All-American Glenn Dorsey.
Well, guys, Glenn Dorsey has been laying on his back on the ground, getting his left thigh stretched out. Now he's stretching it on the bench. Guys, I think they're still really trying to determine whether it's a cramp or a pull. He's still wincing in pain. He's going to lay back down and get stretched out again. So right now, they haven't determined if he can return to the game. But, guys, they sure need him. This would be a devastating blow if he's pulled a hamstring.
Well, they need him physically, emotionally, his leadership, his presence. That's what they'll miss as much as anything.
10th play of this drive. Cox throws complete. Once again, Rodriguez-Smith. He went out of bounds right at the sticks. May have gotten just inside it before Curtis Taylor, the safety, took him down.
Well, Brandon Cox is an accurate thrower. When he has time and when their running game is good enough to set up their play action, he can really throw the football with accuracy. And right now on this opening drive, Auburn's success running the football is setting everything up for them. And that's really, as you look at the turnaround in Auburn's offense the last 4 weeks, it's been stopping the turnovers and starting to run the ball with effectiveness. Both those things they've done well.
They lost early to South Florida and Mississippi State. They come in here. Cox under pressure, scrambles. Open, throws, end zone, touchdown. Montez Billings got open as Brandon Cox bought time and threw another strike.
Well, Montez Billings has really come on the last 3 or 4 weeks. Off the hamstring injury earlier, he just finds an open space and moves with his quarterback. But how about Brandon Cox, not known as a scrambler, not known as a mobile quarterback, does just enough to get outside the pocket and find a throwing lane.
Al Woods chased him out of the pocket, but Cox able to buy time and find the open receiver. Byron for the point after. An 11-play drive that took 4:50 off the clock, and they stunned the sellout crowd of more than 92,000 with the opening possession going for a touchdown. HD TV. Auburn came out and hit LSU right in the chops for an opening drive and a 7-0 lead. Byron, the sensational freshman kicker. Keelan Williams is deep with Trendon Holiday. Short kick, and Williams has to pounce on it at the 17-yard line.
We'll go back and look at this touchdown now. First of all, Al Woods is right here. He's the guy who's in for Glenn Dorsey. But I want you to watch Brandon Cox as he rolls out and gets away from pressure. He never leaves his eyes from going downfield. Watch as he leaves the pocket. His eyes are still downfield. He finds Billings in the end zone. And that is a quarterback playing with poise and playing with presence in the pocket. And Glenn Dorsey hobbling his way to the locker room. Not a good sign for the folks here in Baton Rouge.
No, it isn't. If it is a hamstring, he might be done for the evening already. Matt Flynn leads them out. Hester is the tailback. Pickup of maybe a yard. To tell us about the LSU offense, here's David Toms.
This week on offense, we have the long-anticipated return of Salt and Pepper, featuring Matt, not Damon, Flynn, and Early Doucette. At running back, we have my homeboy, Jacob Snowflake Hester. And the O-line is anchored by the largest baby ever born in the state of Louisiana, Herman, the House Johnson.
Thank you, David. Very proud of his football team and his university. Flynn goes out in the flat to LaFell. For the Auburn defense, here's Patrick Lee.
Thanks, Mike. Starting off with the D-line, we got the Heisman Heartbreakers leading the way with Josh Thompson, a.k.a. Stump, and Big Pat Sims. At linebacker, we got Trey Blackman, a.k.a. Shake and Bait. And in the secondary, we got Gerard Powers, my boy, straight from Decatur.
Auburn up to the 19-yard line, 3rd and 8 yards. Flynn will go to the shotgun. 4-man rush, pocket collapsing on Flynn. Now he's going to take off. Flynn's got the first down and more, out of bounds at the 38-yard line. He had been operating with a high ankle sprain almost all year. Now he is back at least close to what he was before, and that really helps.
He's very close, and this is one of his assets. He runs a 4.640. His mobility is one of the keys to his success. He's not had it for most of the season. He's got it back now. He injured that ankle the last offensive drive against Virginia Tech, and it's just now rounding back into shape, and that's a big part of what makes him the quarterback that he is, his ability to run the football as well as throw.
Even though he's only in his first year as the full-time starter, when you talk to him, you realize the presence he's got and the kind of leadership qualities he has. I mean, he just takes over.
Yeah. And, you know, the one thing, and I'm so impressed with him, he's waited. He was patient. I mean, he played behind Jamarcus Russell, who was the #1 pick in the NFL draft last year. He's a 5th-year guy, and he said to us very honestly, he said, I wouldn't trade this 1 year and the opportunity to lead this team for 4 years at another school where I would have played a lot more. This is a great opportunity, and I'm very happy to be here.
Isn't that a wonderful attitude?
It really is.
And you can tell he meant it, too. Hester, the tailback, beside Flynn. Out in the flat, throw him a little swing pass. He's an outstanding receiver. Holly's got an injury update. Holly?
Well, guys, it doesn't appear good right now for LSU defensive tackle Glenn Dorsey. It looks like he has a previous wrap underneath his pants on that left hamstring. He got on the bike to try to loosen it up. The head trainer, Jack Marucci, went over and talked to him and said, hey, just go to the locker room and get treatment. I can't tell if this was a pre-existing injury and they were going to let him go and see if he could do it. But, guys, bottom line, he's in the locker room, not on the field.
Well, and the guy who's down on the field right now, it looks like Pat Lee, who I think it looks like he may have caught a knee to the head as he went to tackle Hester. His helmet popped off as he tried to make that tackle.
We'll check on him when we come back. Baton Rouge, 3rd and long for LSU. Patrick Lee able to leave the field under his own power after taking a shot to the head that left him on the field for a while.
This is early Doucette right here. Keep an eye on him. They want to get him in the ball game quickly.
Doucette coming back from an injury. Flynn throws underneath. That one is complete to Brandon LaFell. The ball came loose, but after he hit the ground, Mike McNeil made the tackle. He will be shy of a first down.
Flynn was looking for Doucette first. That's one where you read deep to short, and Doucette was on the deeper route, was double covered, and he had to come underneath, and McNeil made a nice tackle in space to stop him short of the first down.
Now here's the first test for the freshman Chris Slaughter as a kick return man. That's Patrick Fisher, who's averaging 43 yards a kick for LSU. Slaughter filling in for Dunn. And smartly lets this one go. Let's check in with Reese Davis, a SportsCenter 30 at 30 update.
All right, my sketch up to date on the American League Championship Series. Red Sox trying to force Game 7 against the Indians. JD drew a 4-run homer. Some call that a grand slam. Boston leads Cleveland 4-1 in the bottom of the 3rd. Game on ESPN Radio with John Miller and Joe Morgan. Trent Green done for the season. Dolphins place him on IR with a concussion. SportsCenter coming up after the game. Much more on that story. You can always stay current with ESPN News.
JD hit a home run. That probably cut down the number of boos. They have just been brutal on him. Auburn takes over at its own 20.
Brandon checking at the line of scrimmage.
Straight back to throw. Now under pressure, throws it away. Let's take a look at tonight's X Factor presented by Dell. Todd?
Well, when you talk about Auburn, or actually LSU needs to pressure Brandon Cox. That's the number one thing they have to do. And it's going to be a little tougher to do it without Glenn Dorsey in the ball game. Auburn, they've got to limit the big plays in the passing game. They did in their first possession. Early Doucette, LSU wants to get him involved early. Auburn's just got to hang in there and weather the storm in the first quarter, and they've done more than weather it. They're off to a 7-0 lead.
Lester is the tailback behind Stewart. Billings comes in motion, and Lester off the left side. And that stout LSU defense, number 7 in the country against the run, led by Ali Highsmith, will hold him to no gain.
It's interesting. The first 5 ball games or 4 ball games, LSU's defense looked absolutely dominant. But the reality was the teams that they played, the highest ranked offense they played was Tulane, which was ranked 87th in the country. I mean, everybody else was a bad offense they played. The last 2 games against Kentucky and Florida, they had some problems defensively. And they're having some problems with Auburn so far tonight.
Kentucky got them for 375 yards. Cox scrambling, dove, and just short. Tremendous effort by Brandon Cox, but they chased him down. Favorite got a piece of him.
But you love his heart, because what that says to his team is, you know what, guys, I know I'm not a scrambler, but I am going to go for it. I mean, I am going to pull that ball down, and I'm going to get whatever I can and dive and try to get that first down.
Well, that's what you got to love about Brandon Cox. I mean, he is not going to win the Heisman Trophy. He is not going to be a Pro Bowl professional football player, but he's a heck of a college quarterback.
And he's tough. You know, last week he got hit in the chin, had to come out, got 6 stitches in his chin after the game in Fayetteville before he flew home.
Shoemaker will punt to Chad Jones. Jones says, get away. Ball bounces out of bounds. Not a good kick. Only 33 yards and no return. 7-0 Auburn. Back after this. And it has been a good anniversary year in regards to football. 7 teams in the BCS standings, 30-5 against non-conference opposition, and the attendance exactly what you would expect out of the SEC. Almost 98% stadium capacity.
Couple surprising games today. Vanderbilt beating number 6 South Carolina. Tennessee getting thumped by Alabama.
Flynn trying to scramble, swallowed up as he got to the 37. Got to hand it to the Commodores. That's been a program that has come so close so many times to those huge upsets, and that's a big one for them.
Yeah, it really is. You know, they got a big win last year over Georgia. It's a big win today over the old ball coach who had never lost to Vanderbilt in his career.
Usually he's the guy who's setting the firsts. Here's the new quarterback, Ryan Perilou.
And he has a package of plays designated for him. He's a running quarterback. He's a powerful runner, but he's got a great arm as well.
6'3", 227. Gives off on the option handoff that time to Charles Scott, the big running back at 5'11", 226. Jake Ricks made the tackle. And they'll send Flynn back in. Les Miles, not a bad record to start with, 28-5. Best start ever by an LSU coach.
Back-to-back top 5 finishes, bowl wins in both of his first 2 years.
Flynn changing the play. You see the offensive line trying to get their calls right. 3-man rush. Flynn throws. Far sideline, near sideline, rather complete.
Boy, nice catch by Brandon LaFell, who has had some problems hanging on to the football this season.
The whole receiving corps.
Yes. He's a big, talented guy. 6'3", 205 pounds. Watch him stretch out, keeps the 1 foot in bounds, and makes the secure catch on the sideline. Good protection for Matt Flynn, and he's able to wait for LaFell to open up on the sideline.
Gerard Powers stumbled a little bit as he tried to come out of the break with LaFell and was a half step behind. Flynn straight back, wants a screen, gets it out to Williams. Keelan Williams, 20, 10, touchdown. Johnson out in front. And Keelan Williams with his first receiving touchdown of the year.
Gary Croton, the offensive coordinator, is a huge screen guy. Will Muschamp knew that. You've got to be ready for their screens, especially against a team that likes to run man coverage like Auburn. They got him on that one.
Boy, Keelan Williams showed you some speed, didn't he? He's got that 5th gear as he turned it on down the sidelines, and LSU has come back to tie it up at home, 7-7. To tie it up, Fannin and Lester are deep for the kickoff. Lester backs up to the 5. Runs into trouble at the 23.
Let's go back and watch the execution on this screen. Now you've got Cyron Black here and you've got Herman Johnson, but also watch the block by the tight end right in here, Richard Dixon. Those 3 guys are going to get key blocks. Dixon's going to come in on the linebacker. The 2 linemen pull out, get a piece of the defensive backs, and then the speed of Williams takes over. But a well-executed screenplay by LSU. Gary Croton loves them. He came from Oregon the last 2 years. Oregon has always been a huge screen team under Mike Bellotti.
Glenn Dorsey back on the field. Let's see if he can stay out there. Again, a push out of that left leg. Lester on the draw. Dorsey is right there. Horse collared him and dragged him down.
I guess he got pretty good push.
He left the game with a left hamstring bothering him. Watch him explode off the line of scrimmage. He's quick, he's powerful, and he just took Chaz Ramsey, the true freshman, and said, "Get out of my way." Wow.
That was impressive. Cox, short set, had it tipped and incomplete. That ball knocked down by Tyson Jackson. Here's Holly.
As you can see, Dorsey jogged out of the locker room. He did a series of tests on the sideline to make sure he could get off the ball and get that push that you're talking about. As you said, he looks okay. It's the left hamstring, so keep an eye on it. But, guys, the push was one thing, but did you see him on the celebration, the high step-in? I was like, wait, you're going to pull it on the celebration.
Well, if you ask Chaz Ramsey, he'd say, hey, he's just fine.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that guy.
Cox, down he goes. Highsmith on a linebacker blitz, got him around the ankles and took him down.
Yeah, third and long, you expect zone and no blitz, but that time Bo Pelini brought both linebackers. Ollie Highsmith and Derry Beckwith both came. They're going to come to the left of Brandon Cox. They pick up one, but they don't get the other one, and actually Brad Lester did a poor job trying to pick up Ollie Highsmith, and Cox goes down for the sack.
Shoemaker will kick to Jones. Ball is short. They'll let it roll inside the 40. Dorsey, of course, not only his physical presence, he is the emotional leader of this highly ranked defense.
Let's go, baby! Let's go, baby! Let's go, baby! Let's go! Alert! Run on! Take that kid right! Take that kid right!
You got to take your hat off to a kid who had a chance to be a first-round draft choice last year, decides there's unfinished business, and he is coming back for his senior year. I just love that. I wish it happened more often.
I know. It's a great tribute to him, his character, his upbringing.
And to the school.
Yeah.
Flynn out of the shotgun. Hester straight ahead. Hester to the 48-yard line. When he came in for our meeting, he said, well, they've got 5 running backs, essentially, who can play. And he said, we're all close friends. Yeah. I mean, if I score, everybody's mobbing me. The same with anybody else. We're the first guys over, shaking hands with everybody. There's no, I mean, there's competition, but there's no jealousy.
Well, he's a senior, and he says it hasn't always been that way at LSU. There was, at certain times, you know, a little more contention among the backs who got the most carries. He said it's not that way. They're best friends on and off the field, and you got to give a lot of credit to Larry Porter, the running back coach, also, because he's the guy that kind of responsible for divvying up the reps in practice and in games. But Hester is clearly the leader, a senior who does a little bit of everything for this LSU offense.
He was brilliant in that Florida game. He had a career-high, scored the winning touchdown. 3rd and 2 here. They faced a lot of these situations against the Gators. Hester that time can't break a tackle, and he will be 2 yards shy of a first down. Trey Blackman, the middle linebacker, led the way for Will Muschamp's defense.
Yeah, Will Muschamp is one of the more animated coaches that you will see in college football. A great young mind, defensive coordinator. He was the coordinator under Nick Saban here at LSU for 4 years. Went with Saban to the Dolphins, and Bo Pelini took his place, but he was thrilled with that 3rd down and short play by his defense.
This will be the end of the first quarter. Auburn and LSU tied here in Louisiana at 7. Back after this. Rouge, where Bear Bryant said it was the worst place for a visiting team to play because it sounded like you were inside a drum. That's bad.
Yeah.
And it does. Fisher to punt to Slaughter. Beauty. Slaughter lets it go. Sideways bounce. And kicked into the end zone. They had a shot at it. Kelvin Shepard kept it alive, but one of his teammates couldn't handle it. A 53-yard kick. Let's check in with Reese.
Mike, got Taco Bell studio update that shows us another top 10 team in the BCS in trouble. Oregon up on Washington 24-17. Jake Locker, Lewis Rankin, he's got a purple convoy leading the way, and the Huskies have tied it up in the third quarter at 24. A couple of other scores. Michigan on ABC without Mike Harden. Street closed with that bad ankle. 17-14 over Illinois. Maryland leading Virginia on ESPN2 at the half.
I don't get Oregon. They have a different uniform on every single game. I mean, that was all white. White and a white helmet. They got like 9 different combinations.
I'm not real fond of that one, but that's by far the best one.
It's the easiest on the eyes. That's
yes,
for
it
sure.
is. The other ones look like softball uniform.
The old Pittsburgh Pirates, you know?
Yes.
The lumber company.
1st and 10 from the 25. Tate the tailback. Cox throws. Smith. Another grab. He's out to the 31-yard line. They'll mark it at the 32 and need to reach the 35 for a first down. Jonathan Zenon, the only player in college football that I know of named for an element, made the tackle.
Zenon and Shevis Jackson, the other corner, have been starting opposite each other for the last 21 games. They give them depth and both good man-to-man defensive corners.
Tate picks his way for a first down. He drags a tackler with him to the 39-yard line. Tate, the 201-pound sophomore, averaging almost 5 yards a carry coming into this game.
There's a big opportunity tonight for King Dunlap, number 77 for Auburn. He's starting at left tackle. He's a senior, 6'8", 312 pounds from Brentwood, Tennessee. He was the starter coming in, the only returning starter on this offensive line, but just didn't work quite as hard as he needed to. Got beat out by a true freshman. Hugh Nall, the offensive line coach, made the switch, but Ryan Pugh got hurt last week, so Dunlap back in there, a chance to kind of redeem himself as a senior.
You would think he would view an opportunity as going out to dinner with you. 6'8", 312,
yeah.
Free food.
It's not always free, Mike. I mean,
yeah.
I do pay. There's Hugh Nall, and Hugh Nall made the decision to insert these young freshmen, and when he did that, it really changed this Auburn offense. It gave them a new energy. They started to run the ball better. They started to protect Brandon Cox better, and the freshmen made a big difference. But King Dunlap, all 312 pounds of him, back in the game tonight.
Have the prices hurt you a lot this year, partner?
Not a lot.
Little swing, Fannin. Won't go down.
Great effort.
Yes, it was. 47-yard line. A couple of yards shy of a first down. Stelz made the tackle. The safety was in on almost every play, and Dorsey a little slow getting up after that one.
Well, you mentioned the 3 different tailbacks. They have the opportunity to keep everybody fresh. Mario Fannin, the 3rd guy in now. Ben Tate carried early in this drive, and he's just fighting for extra yardage. You're not going to wrap him up and bring him on the ground. He's going to get more yards on him. Had a few problems holding on to the football earlier in the season. You know, back in the 2 games that Auburn lost to South Florida and Mississippi State, they had 5 turnovers in each of those 2 ball games, and Fannin, one of those responsible for 3 fumbles in those 2 games.
Dari Beckwith, the middle linebacker, is the 4th leading tackler on this ball club. A homegrown product out of Baton Rouge, was shaken up.
One of the problems for LSU is Jacob Cutrera, who was his backup, is also out of the game tonight. So they're a little thin at the linebacker position coming into the ball game tonight.
When you notice one of the trainers has a hand up under his shoulder pad, and that has the signs of a separated shoulder or a stinger. Hope it's a stinger.
Yeah. Looks like Perry Riley, number 56, has come in as the extra linebacker now. Here's the end of the play. Beckwith coming in on Fannin. Kind of got it caught up in there awkwardly.
Boy, Luke Sanders took a shot as well. Fannin trying to get outside. There's Stelz. That's a nice play by the strong safety, getting that much penetration.
I'll tell you what, though, Perry Riley, I think number 56, blew that play up in the backfield. He got penetration and forced the ball to go outside further than they wanted to. Riley's the guy that came in for Beckwith. Watch Perry Riley blow this up in the backfield. He shoots right into that gap and drives the center, Jason Bosley, number 68, back into the backfield, forces the ball out wide, and they stop him short of the first down.
Shoemaker will punt. Excuse me, Tatum comes on to punt. And now Jones back at the 10. Makes the first man miss, the second man as well. And fights for extra yardage up near the 25-yard line. 14-yard return after a punt of 46. Still tied at 7 in Baton Rouge.
These days, it seems like they're trying to protect us from everything.
Up with Auburn, number 4 against number 17 in the first BCS standings released last Sunday. LSU, first down, Scott to the 34-yard line. Charles, a 226-pound sophomore, one of 5 tailbacks who plays in this offense. Take a look at our game track. 2 touchdown passes in this game. Brandon Cox opened the scoring on a scramble for a perfect 17-yard strike. And then Matt Flynn returned the favor on a screen to Williams for 46 yards.
Ryan Perilou back in the game on this first down play at the quarterback position.
Going to run the option. Perilou will keep. Lost the football. Auburn has it. Powers to the 4-yard line. And Trendon Holiday saved a touchdown with his track speed.
Well, a couple
Powers just got it from Perilou.
Yeah, Perilou does a nice job of reading the option, making the decision to cut up, just doesn't protect the football. It's knocked out by Zach Etheridge, number 4. Powers scoops it up, and this is a whale of a play by Trendon Holiday to save the touchdown. At least give your defense a chance to hold them to a field goal attempt after the turnover.
He may be the fastest and smallest scholarship player in football. Saved a touchdown at least temporarily. Tate is the tailback. First and goal, Auburn from the 3. And the LSU defense has to dig in now. Tate.
Wow. Marlon Favorite right there to meet him in the hole. Number 99.
Looked like there was a little space, but when he slowed up, Favorite just buried it.
You know, coming into this season, everybody felt that this defensive front 4, with Glenn Dorsey coming back for another year and Tyson Jackson on the defensive end, would be the best, most dominating front 4 in college football. And they were that way most of the early part of the season. Last week, I don't think this front 4 played as well as they're capable of. Well, they've got an opportunity now to really help their cause.
Tate cuts it back. Leans in inside the 1-yard line. It will be 3rd and goal. Well, not only are they experienced and talented, they're huge, especially at the tackle spots. Dorsey's 303. Favorite is 301. The left end Jackson is 291. The speed rusher Pittman, who's a great story because he missed 2 years with injuries, he's at 252. 3rd and goal. 3 tight ends. Fullback Stewart, touchdown.
Nice little misdirection type play by Auburn, because they put Tommy Trott, the tight end, in motion and stopped him on the left side of the quarterback and then gave it to the fullback on the right side. I think LSU, anticipating the play would be coming to their right, and they snuck the fullback over for a touchdown.
I think sometimes when you play 2 quarterbacks, there is less effect on the football team than there is on your fan base, because people get divided loyalties and want to see different things.
Well, and the problem for Ryan Perrilloux is, you know, you want to come in the game, you want to make plays, but you've got to protect the football. I mean, ball security is the first thing for a quarterback. Here's a replay. Trots on the left, and they slip it to the fullback on the right. Carl Stewart, that's only his 11th carry on the season, and is up and over for the touchdown. Ball just has to cross the plane. It did it very easily.
Don't know what the discussion could be. The officials in a group huddled over at around the 15-yard line.
Touchdown.
The turnovers, the real story for Auburn in their 2 losses. They were -7, I believe, or -9. I'm sorry, +7 in their wins. And that turnover right there, a huge break for the Tigers. The Auburn Tigers, that is. That's right. Got a couple sets of cats here.
Byram for the point after. So Powers' return of the fumble pays off in the form of a touchdown. And Auburn has regained the lead on the road where they have been spectacular. Auburn is up 14-7. Welcome back to Baton Rouge. And here is tonight's trivia question. What school other than LSU primarily wears white jerseys at home? That's a good one. We'll give you the answer later on. Williams and Holiday, both with blazing speed, are deep. That's Williams. Averages 18-7 a return. Wes Byram is the kicker.
That hit an LSU player, and it's a live ball.
And LSU recovers at the 41-yard line. Monday Night Football on ESPN continues this Monday. Peyton Manning and the Colts head to Jacksonville to take on the defensive-minded Jaguars. Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern. Our coverage starts at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown.
Peyton Manning.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, I can remember covering his games, and he was an SEC football historian. I mean, you know, with his dad, obviously, Archie playing at Ole Miss. I mean, he knew so much about the history of the Southeastern Conference, and pretty good player also.
When all is said and done, there may not be a record he doesn't have. He prepares better than anybody I've ever been around. Flynn. Right to the sticks and gets out of bounds.
This is the zone read, which you might expect more from Perrilloux. But again, Matt Flynn is 230 pounds and he runs a 4.6 when he's healthy. So he's going to fake the read and read that defensive end. When he crashes in to stop the play, Flynn knows to pull that football out and run it. All he was doing was reading Antonio Coleman, number 52 right there. And if he crashed to make the tackle on the running back, he keeps it and gets a nice gain for a first down.
And he's actually bigger than any of Auburn's linebackers, not to mention the secondary. Flynn short set that time, tries to get the ball to LaFell, but threw it high.
And I still think, and they tried to get the first down throw to LaFell there, but they've got to find a way to get the ball in the hands of Early Doucette. He's too good of a player, and he's been out for 5 games. And the passing game at LSU has really suffered with his absence. Not because of his playmaking ability, but his presence affects the other wide receivers. But so far, they've not been able to get the ball in his hands. And I think they need to find a way to get him involved in this game.
And you just wonder if he is healthy enough to get open by himself. Bird will make that catch right at the sticks, forced out of bounds. Here's Reese.
Mike, we put our finger on the prime time pulse. Second half just started in Champaign on ABC. Michigan hanging on to a 17-14 lead. Illinois has the ball at midfield. Maryland leading number 19, Virginia 14-10. The Wahoos without a loss in ACC play so far. Games on ESPN2.
Well, we'll talk about this more as the night goes on, Reese, obviously, but another crazy weekend is LSU going for the first down on the run, and this will be close.
Well, I don't like that. I don't think he got a very good spot on that particular play.
Sure didn't.
It'll be very well. Now they moved it. Looks a little bit better.
They'll bring in the chains.
Les Miles probably thinking right now, is this one of those situations? They are 7 for 8 on 4th down conversions. They were 7 for 7 before last week. The last play of the Kentucky game, they had 4th and 2, and they went for it and missed. And they don't have to worry about it right now.
Tell you what, the display he put on of courageous play calling against Florida was something to behold, and it was something that he believed in, the team believed in. They went for one after the other, and they all paid off.
Yeah, 5 for 5 in that game. Matt Flynn on the sideline. Ryan Perilou, another opportunity in the ball game. Kind of like this for Gary Croton. Give the kid another chance to come in and make something happen.
And you know, that's exactly what he wants to do, is make something happen. And to blow this play dead.
See, the only thing that I don't particularly like about 2 quarterback systems, and I'm not saying it just on this play, but it changes the rhythm. You know, on the
snap, false start, number 70 on the offense. Penalties 5 yards. Down remain first.
You know, on the one hand, it's kind of good. The positive side of that is you can change the tempo of the game, and you can give them a little different wrinkle and something else to prepare for. But the negative of it is you know, a quarterback is a lot like a pitcher. You want to get in the right rhythm, and it changes the whole rhythm of the way that it sounds in the huddle, the cadence at the line of scrimmage, the whole rhythm of the play and of the offense changes when you're rotating guys in at that position.
Flynn returns, so does Charles Scott on 1st and 15. Scott buried. He never had a chance. Took one step and said, Derek Marks said, hello. We've seen Marks. This is the 3rd time we've seen Auburn play. He's made some good plays.
Well, he's just going to come on an inside stunt right now. I mean, he just gets off the ball so quickly. He gets right inside of Carnell Stewart. And Will Muschamp told me yesterday, actually this morning, he thought they had some good matchups on that side against the right guard and the right tackle of LSU. He thought that they could get some things, and that time they took advantage of that matchup.
Former tackle, he is a huge defensive end at 291. Usually playing the side that's a rush lineman. Bird right in his hand, can't hold on, and that has tortured LSU's passing game all year. Those passes that are dropped. One of the reasons Flynn is only completing 54% of his throws this year.
Yeah, you can't throw it any better than that. And it's just a matter of a guy just taking his eyes off of it a little too soon, thinking about where he's going to run with it, trying to pick up defenders before he does the first thing, and that is secure the catch.
Now 3rd and 17 in Auburn territory.
It's a critical drop, because that would have maybe been 3rd and 5 or 6 as opposed to 3rd and 17.
Auburn comes with 4. Pressure on Flynn. Down he goes.
Why is that drop so big? Because on 3rd and 17, you tell those front 4, don't worry about the run. Just pin your ears back and go get the quarterback. And that time, it was a stunt between Derek Marks and Pat Sims, number 95. They worked the stunt. Muschamp knows if you can tell those guys to turn it loose, don't worry about run, just go after the quarterback. Boy, that makes it tough on an O-line.
Quentin Groves also applying pressure on that one. This is going to turn out in LSU's favor. The ball killed at the 5-yard line. Stelz down there on special teams after a punt of 51. Here's the answer to our trivia question. What school other than LSU primarily wears white jerseys at home? Did you get it? Nobody. Now that's a trick question. Yeah, that's dirty.
Now actually, when the rule first changed and allowed LSU to do it, there was another team. Georgia Tech was in on that rule change as well. And Georgia Tech used to wear white at home, and now they wear gold at home. But LSU's the only team now that wears white at home.
Auburn takes over at the 5. Cox dangerous pass and got it out to Billings. That ball is in the air for such a long time when you throw that to the sideline.
It's in the air a long time, but it's intentionally underthrown. This is one where you throw to the back shoulder of the receiver and let him turn and go back for the football. Chevis Jackson is thinking he's running a fade and he's going to turn and run with them. The ball is intentionally thrown short to the back shoulder. Very difficult to defend if the ball's put in the right spot.
2nd and 2. Brad Lester is the tailback. And he'll get the carry, and Lester has the first down to spare out to the 19-yard line. Steltz up from the safety spot to make a tackle again. Clock will stop temporarily while they respot the chains.
You know, the irony of that Aflac trivia question in the white jerseys is Auburn had a streak going. They've won 15 straight games wearing their all white.
Yeah.
And normally you would wear your white on the road. Auburn has to wear their home blue jerseys today here in Baton Rouge, and so far it's working out okay.
Lester. Well, he has given them a new dimension coming back. The time had been split by Tate and Fannin, and then Lester comes back. He was going to be the go-to guy the whole way and may get some extra yardage on a face mask, and will.
Yeah, Lester shows that that he is a difficult guy to tackle.
Number 99 on the defense. Penalty of 5 yards will be added on to the end of the run. Result of the play, first down.
Lester just waits. He's following Carl Stewart as fullback. Just kind of picking his way through there, and then you see just not a solid tackle. There's the 5-yard face mask. Didn't use it to make the tackle.
Blocking fullbacks rarely get the credit they deserve, and Stewart is a guy, we have seen him time after time throw great blocks as a lead blocker for these 3 guys. This time he'll follow a tackle on the pull. That's Green, and Highsmith is there to make the tackle. That's Alonzo's cousin. He originally committed to Miami, but never enrolled in school there. And he has been a terrific outside linebacker for this program. It didn't look like much, but it was.
Well, you get 4 yards. That's a win on first down,
especially against these guys. Play action by Cox again. Montez Billings. Nearly had his head taken off by Curtis Taylor, who got a hand up around the bottom of that helmet.
Short underneath throw balls out of Brandon Cox's hands quickly, and the free safety, Curtis Taylor, coming up for the quick tackle.
Well, it looked like it had a piece of the face mask as well, at least temporarily.
3rd down and 3. This is a run or pass down for Auburn. That makes it a little tougher for the LSU defense. Have to respect the run here as well.
Underneath, Billings. First down and more. Billings, 35-30. 25-yard line. A 31-yard gain, and Montez Billings has really grown into the role of the second receiver.
Well, it starts with Brad Lester doing a nice job in pass protection. Watch him get a piece of Jackson in the end. Just gets his hands down enough so that Brandon Cox can see outside. Then Zenon makes a bad attempt at the tackle, and Billings able to turn that short catch into a big gain. Very similar to what we saw last week in the Arkansas game on that game-winning drive. A short catch on the out route, a missed tackle, and down the sidelines for more yardage.
4 catches, 59 yards in the first half for Billings. Lester trying to get wide, cuts it back. He's such a tough runner inside the 20. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, guys, you know Auburn was without Brad Lester the first 5 weeks of the season because of an academic suspension, but they said that he is so important to be in their lineup because he's a changeup. He's a very different running style than Mario Fannin and Ben Tate. He's a little bit faster, and he's a little bit harder to tackle in the open field, as we've seen. And more importantly, Tommy Tuberville calls him Mr. Touchdown. He said, I don't know what it is with this kid, but he has a knack for getting in the end zone. It's been a big boost to have him back.
They'd love to see him do it one more time here, Holly, as they are eating a lot of time off the clock and have advanced all the way to to the LSU 19, 2nd and 4. Good play fake by Cox, goes right back to Billings. Montez Billings to the 14, pushed back. Looks like he has another first down.
Now everything just revolves around Auburn's ability to run. Brandon Cox is a good play faker. You've got to respect that run fake the way Lester's playing tonight, and that opens up the quick receiver to Billings. But it all starts with the ability to run the football. Now Holly talked about the touchdowns in Brad Lester. Coming into tonight's game, he averaged 1 touchdown every 11.8 touches of the football. And just to put that in perspective, the great Bo Jackson averaged 1 touchdown every 15 touches in his illustrious career.
Tommy Tuberville has coached his team to victory 24 of the last 28 SEC games. And he's got a touchdown lead on LSU here and driving.
Cody Burns in at quarterback now, the running quarterback for Auburn.
It's a draw. Got the speed to get outside.
Well, nice play by Stelz.
Yes, it was. Stelz came up from the safety. Now, that's a strong safety, a guy you count on in run support, and he came up and had enough speed to not allow Cody Burns to turn the corner.
He's having an outstanding senior season. He's leading the team in tackles coming into tonight. Had a career-high 16 tackles in the win against Florida. Leads the SEC with 4 interceptions. They're tied for first.
Cox is back in. This drive so far, 82 yards, almost 4.5 minutes off the clock. 4-man rush, no pressure. Now Cox flushed. And makes that smart decision again to throw the ball away. He was criticized to the utmost, and probably deservedly, early in the year. When he'd have a play like that, he would try to make something happen rather than be smart.
Well, in those first 3 games, he threw 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Now, that's okay if you're a freshman quarterback and you're growing, but not a 5th-year senior. And they weren't expecting Brandon Cox to make those kind of decisions with the ball. He actually got benched in favor of Cody Burns for a game, came back in after that, and ever since he's come off the bench in the New Mexico State game, he has played like a senior and has made good decisions just like that one on 2nd down.
3rd and long, they need to get inside the 4 for a first down. Cox pressured again, throws complete. Lester to the 5-yard line, about 1.5 yards shy. Darrell Beckwith kept him from the sticks. It will be 4th down and a little more than 1 yard.
I think you got to kick the field goal here. Yeah, I do. I mean, you're winning on the road. You have played very well here in the first half. You got a chance to go up 10 with a field goal.
I like it.
I'm not sure Tommy Tuberville likes it, unless he's just going to let the clock go down and call a timeout. Looks like he's going to let that play clock go all the way down and then call a timeout.
Auburn knocking on the door, already up by 7 in Baton Rouge. 14-7 Auburn. And Auburn setting up for a 22-yard field goal try on 4th and about 1.5 yards. Wes Byram has been nearly perfect inside 40 this year. 11 out of 15 overall. He's had 2 game winners. And that basically a chip shot, and he knocks it through. And Auburn has taken a 10-point lead. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, this is kind of a neat story. This beautiful book has just come out. It Never Rains in Tiger Stadium. I saw it at Barnes & Noble today, a huge display. And the author, John Ed Bradley, is here. John Ed played here at LSU back in 1979. What do you hope to convey to fans about the experience you had as a player here in Tiger Stadium?
I hope that I capture the magic of the stadium, what it's like to play here. It's an amazing experience. You never get over it. It informs your life for the rest of your life. I'm 49 years old, and I haven't fully recovered from Tiger Stadium yet.
What's it like for you to be back down here on the sidelines now?
It's, you know, I would like to have a year of eligibility left, but I do acknowledge that I would get killed out there. These guys are very impressive, bigger than when I was playing.
Well, the neat thing, guys, I read an excerpt from the book today, and the beautiful thing that you left me with reading this was that love is having a teammate carry you off the field when you're too tired to walk yourself. Is that how you would best describe it?
Absolutely. One of the great things about playing here was my teammates. I never forgot them. You know, I think about them all the time, wonder where life has taken them, and cherish the memories of having played with them here.
All right, well, thanks for joining us. You guys can pick that up. It Never Rains in Tiger Stadium. Barnes & Noble's where I got mine today, guys. It's terrific read.
All right, Holly, thanks very much. As always, great job with that interview and the research that went into it by getting the book this afternoon. It's great. And this is a special place. I swear there is no atmosphere quite like it. It's a little quiet right now. Usually it is loud enough in here so I can't hear the other voices in my head. It's loud. Let's see what LSU does with 1:33 to go. 2 timeouts. You would think they would run their regular offense at this point. With a swing pass. Murphy. Got it with great speed across midfield. Let's check in with Reese.
All right, Mike, coming up on the Pontiac Performance Halftime Report. It took Vanderbilt a while, but they finally got the head ball coach. Great shootout in Lexington. We'll get you up to date. And Game 6 in the ALCS, that's all Sox all the time. They are well on their way toward a Game 7. We'll get you up to date on everything coming up on the Pontiac Performance Halftime Report.
All right, Reese, this is the number 4 team in the country. They're down by 10. Yeah. Nothing surprising this year, is it?
And really, the LSU people shouldn't be too worried at this point, because the last time they played here against Florida, they were down by 10 3 different times in that ball game before winning.
Flynn throws complete. Tolliver makes the catch. Only his 5th grab the entire season. Powers made the tackle.
And when you're running a 2-minute offense, either at the end of the half or at the end of the game, the first down is the most important. That first down where they got the swing pass and got across the 50, that opens up the playbook a little bit more for Gary Croton and the LSU offense, as they just go under a minute here. And Matt Flynn has to burn a timeout. They don't have the right people. They don't have the right play.
Boy, he was upset, too. He kept motioning to the sideline. Come on, give me something. And they lost 12 seconds on that. And that may be the difference between the college offense and a pro offense, where you're just not as smooth. Yeah. Let's take a look at the ESPNU All-State Standings review right now. And we mentioned LSU being the number 4 team in the country. And look at the carnage again in the top 10. People who thought they were out of it are alive again.
And just another wild weekend in college football. Oregon trying to hold on down there at the bottom right now against Washington. Ohio State, I mean, they did enough to win. Their defense is solid. Offense has done enough to win. They've got a tough game next week at Penn State.
Oklahoma struggled against an Iowa State team that has won once.
Yep.
And South Carolina and Kentucky go down, so the teams really 8 through 12 or 13 still have a shot to get back up. Who knows? Let's see if number 4 LSU can make a dent before we go to the half. 54 seconds on the clock.
But a big open space in the middle of the Auburn defense with this look right now. Now they drop Etheridge back in.
2nd and 5. They still haven't been able to find Doucette. This pass is tipped and incomplete, intended for Tolliver. Couldn't get to it.
Well, Auburn also knows that early Doucette is a big part of their offense when he's healthy. And they've done a nice job of paying special attention to him in definite pass situations. And I would think on this 3rd and 5 play, they're going to make Matt Flynn find someone else to throw the football to rather than early Doucette. Zach Etheridge lining up over him right now. He'll probably have safety help over the top as well.
Big 3rd down if they're going to keep this drive alive. Blitz coming. Flynn goes down, and there's the sack that Quentin Groves has been looking for several weeks. He has just tied the school record of Gerald Robinson with his 26th sack of his career. The young man's been hurt this year, limited as a pass rusher, but not that time.
Nope. Went right around Carnell Stewart, the right tackle, just used a speed rush. Obviously not bothered by those dislocated toes on that play. Watch him on the bottom of the screen. Just goes right around Carnell Stewart, number 71, gets to the quarterback, and Matt Flynn did a nice job of holding on to the football as he was going down.
It's his 3rd sack of the year. Boy, if he'd been healthy, he'd have really put up a number as far as sacks are concerned.
That's the side that they thought Auburn could get some matchups that they were favorable for them. Against Carnell Stewart, the right tackle, Lyle Hitt, the right guard. We've seen a couple good plays on that side.
And LSU called a timeout as soon as that play was over with 36 seconds. So they gave Auburn a favor, really, if something happens on this punt play. Fisher will come in to kick, and Auburn not dropping anybody deep. And all Fisher wants to do is just get the ball out of there without anything silly happening. And he does. Booming kick that'll make the end zone. 49-yard kick stops the clock with 28 seconds to go. 5 races left in the chase, and it's heating up. Don't miss the short track rubbing and racing at its finest at the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series in Martinsville on ABC tomorrow. Our coverage at 1 Eastern with the NASCAR countdown. Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson are 1-2, and that's the way they finished last year when they ran at Martinsville.
Yeah, well, you know, they're teammates, Gordon and Jimmy Johnson. When they raced in the spring, it was actually the other way around. Jimmy Johnson finished first, Jeff Gordon second. Right now in the points, it's Gordon first, Johnson second.
That's very good. Yeah, that's very good. You don't spend
shortest track on the circuit too, half mile. It's just like going around.
And I thought you spent your entire weekend eating. You're doing some homework.
I'm well rounded.
All right. Auburn is going to be very comfortable leaving the field right now because they are up on number 4 LSU 17-7, and the Auburn Tigers going for their 5th straight win. Let's check in with Holly.
Coach Miles, what sense do you get about the fatigue level of your team? You were worried about that triple overtime game. What do you think?
I think the turnover cost us. I think that turnover cost us, and we got to play better with the ball. We keep the ball, we drive the ball, we have an opportunity to put some points on the board. It's a much different game.
How do you get the offense going here?
Shoot, the things that we've done haven't been bad. We just, sputtering. All we got to do is come out and do the things that we plan to do and do well. Just started fast in the second half. We'd like to come down and get 7, start the half out.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Our halftime score, Auburn 17, LSU 7. Let's join Reese Davis for the Pontiac Performance halftime report. On a Saturday night, let's take a look at the first half stats with the score 17-7. The visiting Auburn Tigers on top, 169 total yards. They ran for 57. They held LSU to 40 on the ground.
And that 57 doesn't look like much, but when you consider LSU's the #1 rush defense in the conference, giving up only 68 yards a game, it means a lot. And Brad Lester was a weapon for Auburn in that first half. Auburn did exactly what they needed to do. They ran the ball with enough effectiveness to take pressure off Brandon Cox, and they limited the big plays. Only one big play that LSU had in that first half.
Is it just me, or is Auburn getting better every time we see it?
Absolutely. They really are. Their defense continues to play solid, and their offense is getting better and better each week.
LSU will get the ball to start the third quarter. It's another squib kick taken by one of the upmen up at the 31-yard line, and that's it. They have done a wonderful job. Jared Mitchell takes the roller. Les Miles referred to this turnover, and it was a huge play, wasn't it?
Well, it sure was, because, the other thing LSU has done well all year is turnover ratio. They were plus 13 coming into the ball game tonight, the best in the conference, and that turnover right there really put their outstanding defense in a bind, starting inside their own 5-yard line. Hard to keep a team out of the end zone that way. And Auburn, we talked about it. In their 5 wins, they've protected the football. In their 2 losses, They were very careless with the football.
It was a terrific player by Gerard Powers, and what hustle by Trindon Holiday to temporarily save the touchdown. Hester, nowhere to go. Just keeps the legs moving and picks up a couple. Let's go to Holly.
Well, guys, I spoke with Auburn coach Tommy Tuberville at the half, and he said his biggest concern here is that they are really going to come out and open it up here on this first offensive possession. He said that they really need to expect from LSU some boots, some reverses, and some screens right here. He expects a lot of different things because he said they've been pretty ineffective running the football against us. So he said how we handle this, how we withstand this first drive will really set the tone.
All right, Holly, and Matt Flynn doesn't have the power arm, but he's a guy that's really suited to Gary Croton's short passing game. He'll go to the shotgun on 2nd and long. Draw play to Hester, and Hester didn't stand a chance. Antonio Coleman, number 52, who leads his team in sacks, hit him just as he got the ball.
Well, there was some confusion here. He was checking at the line of scrimmage, and I thought this was going to be a read on Antonio Coleman. Here's Coleman right here. He's going to just crash inside. If this is a read by the quarterback, this has to be a pull read. He's got to pull that out of the belly and keep, but there's two guys outside. They had that play very well diagnosed, anticipating the run by Flynn.
That was more like somebody who can't read.
Well, they had the dive taken care of, and they had the quarterback taken care of on that particular play.
3rd and 10. Good protection for Flynn deep down the middle for Doucette. In between 3 defenders. Made the catch at the 34. That's what early Doucette can give this team.
Well, 2 deep safeties. The middle of the field is open. Gerard Powers is running underneath in man coverage, but doesn't know where the football is. And Doucette takes in a perfect throw. But watch the protection. Jacob Hester stayed in, helped on Quentin Groves, the sack master for Auburn. That gave Matt Flynn a little extra time to make that deep throw down the middle.
Powers, Brock, and McNeil were all there, but early Doucette with his 2nd catch of the day. The first one went for nothing. This one was for 33 yards.
Here comes the
Hester
reverse.
on the toss. There is the reverse. Tolliver turns the corner. Big, rangy, long strider down to the 18.
Great block by Matt Flynn. He stayed out there and got himself in the right position. Watch Matt Flynn come out here and lead this play. Number 15. He's going to size up his man, and right there, he just gets enough of this block to allow the receiver to get outside and turn it into a big play. Excellent effort by Matt Flynn. Antonio Coleman, number 52, ended up on his backside thanks to the block by the quarterback.
That was more than a quarterback block, wasn't it?
That was.
When you knock down a defensive end, you've done your job as a quarterback. Les Miles says, come on, hurry. Play clock's down to 6. This is what Tommy Tuberville said to Holly Rowe. He was worried they were going to open it up.
They weren't set. They're going to get a 5-yard penalty here. Yeah. This is too much trickery. I don't like, you've got momentum. Line up and run a play. And that's what Les Miles is saying. Les Miles is an old offensive line coach from Michigan. He wants him to get lined up and just take advantage of the momentum and pound the football. You get up there and you're fooling around and you're shifting guys around, and then you end up killing your momentum and taking a 5-yard penalty.
Not only a line coach, he was a lineman.
Yeah. The momentum is so fragile in college football.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty has been declined. 2nd down.
It just felt that time like they were trying to kind of trick him a little bit. Trick him by formation, maybe outflank him, maybe get him out of position, and that's okay. But when you got him on the ropes a little bit, try to hit him in the mouth.
Sometimes it's the right play, but at the wrong time. That may have been it. 2nd and 10. They declined the penalty. They'd rather have the down, so Flynn has to go to the shotgun. Comes back to an inside screen to Tolliver, who faked to go outside, came back inside, sent Derek Marks, appeared to get a hand on it.
Auburn red screen all the way that time. I mean, they felt those linemen release, and they red screen, and that's why Derek Marks was able to get in the way of that one.
know, you have to be a smart defensive lineman to read screen. You have to determine the fact that you just blew by somebody with no effort.
Perilou in for this critical third down play. Opening drive of the third period. You've moved inside the 20. Third down and 10. You've got your backup quarterback in the game.
This is a big call here. Perilou, this is a straight keep. Needs to get down to the 7-yard line. He's going to be about 5 yards short. Zach Etheridge up from the safety spot. And that is an odd call, certainly in this situation. Auburn has a 4-game win streak coming in. LSU's now going to have to go for a field goal. LSU number 4 in the first BCS standings. They would move up at least a notch if they can win here tonight. This now will be a 29-yard field goal try by Colt David. It was an odd call, wasn't it?
A little different. Safe call, but
Colt David knocks it through. The young man out of Grapevine, Texas, 12 out of 17 this year. And it's a one-possession ball game here early in the third quarter in Baton Rouge. HD TV. Glad you could join us. It has been everything we expected from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. 2 top 20 teams fighting out for a share of the lead in the SEC West. Both teams acknowledge this is the most physical game they play all year against each other.
It didn't matter who we talked to this week, players or coaches. I mean, they all said the same thing. Oh, hands down, this is the most physical game of the year for our team.
And that is saying something in this league. Tate.
Oh, watch this. Here's a trick play. Who's got it?
It's the cornerback.
They call this the globe return. Tommy Tuberville said that he might bring it out.
Patrick Lee.
Watch what they do. Now, Ben Tate almost messed it up by bobbling. If they all 5 get together, nobody knows who has the ball, then they get out of there like a covey of quail, and Pat Lee's the guy that has the football. Now, covey of quail, I think, is accurate because Eddie Grand is the special teams coach for Auburn. He's a huge hunter. So, I mean, that's when he described that to me. That's how he described it, like a covey of quail.
Well, they got the ball out to the 40-yard line. Here's Lester on the draw. It takes a lot of guts to turn your back to a guy who's got a 40 to 50-yard run at you and stand there.
Well, it's all DBs in here. Now watch, they get in there, they turn their back. Who's going to take it? Who's going to take it? Hot potato. Who's got it? Who's got it? Not Ben Tate. Wow, that is kind of a gutsy call. But Auburn, the beneficiary, with excellent field position on their first possession of the second half.
Cox trying to take off and couldn't. Caught from behind. Tremaine Jackson from the defensive end spot. And LSU's front wall trying to dial it up a notch.
Very few times in this game has LSU had Auburn in definite pass situations. Well, they've got him in one right now. 3rd and 10. Auburn was 4 of 8 on third downs in the first half. They were the worst team in the league coming into the game, but very manageable third down so far in this game. But right now, 3rd and 10. Watch LSU pin their ears back on this one.
Brandon Cox, the senior, facing 3rd and long. From the shotgun, 4-man rush, good protection. Cox throws incomplete, intended for Rodriguez Smith. He couldn't hold it. The coverage pretty good by Chevis Jackson.
It's a big stop by the LSU defense after the big kickoff return. Excellent field position for Auburn and a 3-and-out for their offense.
92,400 people just got their wake-up call.
LSU's taking a timeout, an unusual punt formation for Auburn. Boy, that's we've seen LSU waste some timeouts today. 2 in the first half, the first one here in the second half.
And a great coaching move by Auburn to make them burn one.
The chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup is on.
The Cajun Dance held last night at the American Legion Post here in Baton Rouge. Music provided by Chris Miller and the Bayou Roots. Mixture of French and Creole cultures come together. Guys with dogs named Fido, P-H-I-D-E-A-U-X. Fido. They'll kick it away. Shoemaker punting to Jones. Driven back inside the 10. Fields it at the 8. Makes a couple of guys miss to the 16-yard line. There's a flag down on the play after a return of 8. A beautiful 52-yard punt. And this may cost him about half the distance to the goal line.
The flag came out kind of late. I mean, well after the initial block. But that's what it's going to be, an illegal block in the back.
Let's go to Reese Davis. Reese?
Well, after you guys had the Auburn kickoff return, my trick play seems a little pedestrian from the Michigan-Illinois game. We'll end around Adrian Arrington. Going to pass it. Mario Manningham that came after Illinois had muffed a punt. And inside 5 minutes on ABC, Wolverines are on top 24-17. On ESPN2, Virginia now down by 5 and trying to remain unbeaten in ACC play. Terps trying to hang on late.
You know, that's going to be a remarkable story if Michigan comes back to challenge for the Big Ten championship. And they're in position to do that.
They sure are. Late substitution here for LSU. Matt Flynn's got to give Terrence Tolliver the play.
The ball spotted inside the 5. And Flynn on the run, throws to Doucette across the 20 to the 25.
What a block by Terrence Tolliver, the guy who was late coming onto the field. Matt Flynn had to give him the play individually, and he peeled back and got an extra block for Doucette. Doucette's going to come across the formation, the crossing route. Flynn picks him up. Now watch to the left of your screen this block by Tolliver right there on Pat Lee, number 20. That got about 10 more yards for Doucette, and they're out from their own end zone. Well, early Doucette has been much more of a factor here in the second half for LSU.
Sure has. Keelan Williams with all that speed is the tailback. This ball's batted down. Good defensive play by the linebacker who got his, or by the defensive end, Antoine Carter, who got his hands up, the young man out of Fort Lauderdale, as he had really gotten penetration.
And really not a great play by Carnell Stewart, the right tackle, because if that guy's not going to rush hard and he's going to stand there, then you need to kind of point your helmet somewhere that's going to make him bring his hands down.
That's right.
You don't want to let him just stand there and jump up in the way of your quarterback.
You have a specific location in mind?
Well, in the general area.
Williams. Good hard effort up to about the 32, and it's amazing the number of times people throw on first down and get nothing. They're almost always going to run it on second down. They've used Hester, Williams, Scott, Murphy, none of whom have been particularly effective so far. That Auburn defense has really shut down the running game.
This defensive front of Auburn has played so well this year. I mean, Senderick Marks, Pat Sims, and Josh Thompson on the inside have just played beautiful football this season for Auburn.
And they've had to do a lot of it without Groves, their most publicized lineman. Flynn throws this one, and just off the fingertips of the leaping Terrence Tolliver as he took a shot in the back from Eric Brock.
Well, Flynn left the pocket a little bit, and this ball did sail on him a little bit too high. Now he got two hands on it, but Tolliver also knows there's a shot coming to his back on that play. That's one that Matt Flynn has to get down for his receiver.
Fisher to kick to Slaughter, and the young man still hasn't been able to return a punt. He's filling in for Dunn.
Now, wait a minute. If this is offsides on Auburn, this could be a first down for LSU. Zach Etheridge came across and made contact, and was he drawn off or was it offside? This is a first down, a crucial penalty against Auburn. Zach Etheridge is going to come right across the line of scrimmage. Here he is right here, number 4. He's going to come right across the line of scrimmage and make contact. Now, he moved first, and it caused a movement by LSU, but they got Etheridge for the offsides penalty.
And that's an inexcusable mistake.
That's a gift for LSU.
Sure is. It gives them a new set of downs from their own 37-yard line.
Let's see if they go for 4. See if they go for a big play here on first down after that penalty.
Hester back in at running back. And Hester will get the carry. It's a sound, determined kid. Bo Harris brings him down.
You know, I asked Jacob Hester, you know, what did Les Miles, I mean, obviously he was recruited by Nick Saban, was here under Nick Saban. Now he's got a new head coach in Les Miles in his 3rd year. What does Les Miles bring to this offense? Said, you know what, he brings a certain toughness to our offense, particularly our running game, and that kind of fits right in with him because he's a tough, hard-nosed player, and he runs the football that way, and it's been a good mix.
Flynn with the out to Doucette. Had enough for the first down yardage. They'll mark it up at the 49-yard line. Powers makes the tackle. For more on Hester, here's Holly Rowe.
Guys, you've got to love Jacob Hester, but you look at him, he's not your prototypical body style of an SEC running back. He's real short, got the short, squatty legs, but you cannot underestimate the size of his heart. We talked to the coaching staff, and they said, you know what, this kid is just a football player. If we needed him to play linebacker, he'd do it, and he'd be good. So you've got to really admire his want to and his spirit, guys.
Size of his heart and size of his hands. I don't know that I've ever shook hands with a running back bigger hands than Jacob Hester. Big, wide, thick hands. That's why he doesn't fumble the football either.
Parallel. There's the escapability he brings. Cream just as he unloaded, and it's almost picked off. That was thrown up for grabs. Wilhite nearly came down with it. Parallel just got crunched. Chris Evans got in his grill.
Well, this is the Tebow play. Play action to yourself. But there was quick pressure that time by Jake Ricks, number 91, that forced the action, and Parallel got away with one because he kind of threw this one up for grabs. This ball was thrown so late that it was nearly intercepted. And that turnover, Parallel already was responsible for one of the turnovers. Here's early Doucette. He's the intended receiver, but they can't get the football to him.
Well, Parallel got up and started counting his chicklets just to make sure. Now they burn another timeout. That's 2. Here in the 3rd quarter, they have 1 left for the rest of the game. So communication from the bench has been a little shaky tonight. What else is due in the SEC? One close game after another. 9 decided by 5 points or fewer. We might have another one right here. Right now it is a 7-point ball game. 2nd and long for Flynn on that little half roll. And complete to the 15, then tipped and intercepted. Holy cow, Patrick Lee ends up with it.
Brandon LaFell was so open and had such an easy catch that he just couldn't handle it. He looked it in and then looked it right over his shoulder. Oh. I mean, he's looking it in all the way and then flips it right over his shoulder to Pat Lee.
Patrick Lee with his 3rd interception. That would have had them right on the doorstep. Instead, it's Auburn football at the 22. Cox, pressure from behind, throws incomplete, hit as he got rid of it. Well, everybody in the building was convinced that he had the ball, including him.
My goodness. I mean, I know he's a young guy who is trying to make it go, and he's had some problems hanging on to football. He's a sophomore out of Houston, Texas. Great skill, great ability, but obviously not great confidence right now catching the football.
Well, right now he's got a broken heart too. LSU hanging on to the number 4 spot in the BCS poll. Dreams of a national championship are still alive, but not unless they come back to win this one. And wide open is Lester out of the backfield, and after great protection, Brandon Cox found him for 18.
It was a play-action pass. They actually faked it to Lester on the counter play, and then Lester's going to be the guy that slips out and down the sideline. Cox finds him late, knows he's going to get hit, and gets a nice pass out there to Brad Lester over on the Auburn sideline for the first down.
Cox hangs in there pretty well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he sure does. I mean, he knows he's not going to outrun people. His best chance is to wait to the last moment to deliver the football.
Lester stays in at tailback. One of the best runs they've had tonight. Ball comes out loose, but after he's down. Auburn has done this throughout the season, especially since they started their winning streak. When they get late in the third quarter, as it is now, or in the fourth, they seem to be able to dominate people.
Their running game has just gotten better. Their defense has played solid. Now they've forced a couple turnovers in the ball game tonight. They're a team that plays with tremendous confidence right now, particularly on the road.
Cox, good protection, got it to Smith. Smith, they're going to say he was forced out of bounds. There's also a flag down back at the 38-yard line.
Well, there is not a, well, I think it's going to be a holding, first of all, back by the pocket that's going to bring this play back. Now, there is no force out in college football. So if he doesn't come down on his own in bounds, that wouldn't have been a completion. Does he get down?
He did.
Catches the ball clearly.
Tough to tell from that.
I don't think it's going to matter anyway.
No,
I think it's holding on Auburn anyway. And he'll bring it back in 2nd and long. Penn Wagers, our referee.
And now they are coming over to the sideline.
During the play, we have holding 73 on the offense. Also on the play is under further review. After review, we will determine what the play was, so it would be better to give the penalty options correctly.
A very good explanation there.
And what Penn Wagers means is they're going to review the play, and if it's ruled an incompletion, then it would either be 3rd and 4, or if they take the penalty, it would be 2nd and 14. So they can give the option to LSU. I think they're going to rule that an incompletion upon review.
Looked like the right foot hit out of bounds before the left foot came down. So that would allow LSU to say we'll turn it down and take the play, which is an incomplete pass, or force him back 10 yards.
Now, if it were me, and I don't know what Bo Pelini's going to do, I would take the penalty and play 2nd and 14 rather than give Brandon Cox 3rd down and 4. Of course, I guess it's really Les Miles' decision, not Bo Pelini's. He works for Les Miles.
And there shouldn't be much question about that one.
Yeah. It's just amazing to me, though, to watch this Auburn team, and we've seen them a couple weeks, how well they play on the road and just the confidence they play with. And you know, Holly and I were down here when the team buses got here, and they had a huge contingent of Auburn fans, and they do the Tiger Walk on the road as well as at home. And when those guys got off the bus, I mean, they just there's a feel they have for playing on the road that is pretty unique. It really is, because playing on the road in this league is not easy.
Well, you throw some other numbers. 9 of the last 10 teams against the ranked teams, right, they've won.
Top 10
they've won
teams,
24 of 28 SEC games.
Yeah,
I mean, they're winning them everywhere, home and away. But you're right. The really impressive number is the away wins that they have had, because home field advantage in this conference is so huge.
It is. Tommy Tuberville is 4-0.
Review. The ruling on the field has been reversed. Video evidence shows the pass was incomplete. The receiver came out of bounds. Therefore, it is third down. At this point, we will talk with the captains about the penalty situation.
Okay, so the play stand, what it is now is 3rd and 4. Now they'll ask LSU, do you want to take the penalty and make it 2nd and 14? Or do you want to take the decline and make it 3rd and 4?
Checking with Holly.
Guys, the big discussion going on right now, Les Miles with the officials. Chevis Jackson is playing for LSU with a shield, a face mask across his helmet that is not clear. He's had a horrible injury to his eyes where he took a hit in the head, blood ran down into his eyes, and he has 2 huge black eyes, and his eyes are filled with blood. But they're telling him that they don't think that the shield is legal. They just went through a lengthy conversation with Les Miles and the equipment manager. We'll see if they let him continue to play. Looks like they will, guys.
You're supposed to only wear a clear, either plastic or unbreakable glass shield under on your face mask. They do take the penalty, 2nd and 14. I don't know if there's a medical exemption for that or not. Once again, Montez Billing, who continues to come up bigger and bigger in this passing game. Chevis Jackson makes the tackle for Billings. That's 6 catches tonight.
Here's a guy again, Montez Billings, that barely practiced in August, had a hamstring injury. He had 1 reception in the first 4 games, and he has really started to come on. Had 5 in the win over Arkansas and 6 now tonight.
Now it's 3rd and about 1.5. Lester is back in there as the tailback. Only 1 wide receiver. Lester has the first down. Well, this guy rarely disappoints.
That was good work. That was good work on 2nd down by Brandon Cox, not trying to get all 14 yards, just taking the good, strong completion. 3rd and short, and then Brad Lester finding a little crease, knowing what he needed for the first down and getting that ball past the marker. Brandon Cox checked off on that 3rd down run, ran away from the blitzing linebacker, and they got the first down.
Tate gives Lester a breather as he checks back in at tailback. He'll get the carry and get slugged for his efforts. Danny McCray, the backup free safety, came in to hit him first.
Remember, this Auburn drive is all the result of an interception that should have never been. I mean, you can't fault Matt Flynn for the interception that he threw. Brandon LaFell had the pass, couldn't handle it, flipped it over his shoulder, and Pat Lee came up with the football, and Auburn has now crossed the 50-yard line as a result of that turnover.
4 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Auburn leads by a touchdown, bidding for more. Batted down at the line of scrimmage by Tyson Jackson, who played it perfectly, stood his ground, and timed the jump.
Well, you had a running back, Ben Tate, going over there trying to block him. Watch 44. He's going to try to block the end, and he's waiting for Tyson to come to rush, and Tyson says, no, I'm going to stay right here and jump up and knock the ball down.
Dorsey is down again, and he had somebody roll up on the back of his right knee. First it was the left hamstring.
Well,
and I'm not sure if that was somebody rolling into him or blocking him. If it was blocking him, this would not be a good play.
Well, he's had a tough night all night. This was early in the game. His left hamstring bothered him. He went in, got some work in the locker room, came out, tested it on the sideline, did some stretching, and when he came back in, he played like it didn't bother him at all. And he's kind of been playing that way since. But he's down at the end of this play, and that was a tough-looking play. Here he is. You know he's going to get double-teamed most of the time, and that, you know what, that's an illegal block.
That's a chop block.
That's an illegal block.
Totally uncalled for. That is the kind of thing that...
And they're looking right at it. The umpire's looking right at it. If a guy is engaged with one player, he can't be hit by another player. And it looked like he was engaged with Lee Zimba, and Chaz Ramsey, the guard, took out his knees.
He sure was.
That shouldn't happen.
No, that's... You can't allow that kind of football to be played. That is a dirty play.
I mean, you understand that you want to double team him because he deserves the double team, but make it a fair double team.
Yep. Can't have that. Cox under pressure, trying to scramble. Swallowed up by the rush at the 48. I'm not saying it was intentionally a dirty play, but that's the way it ended up. Let's go to Holly.
Well, guys, I'll get an update as soon as they have finished evaluating Glenn Dorsey. But just a side note, he is this huge guy, very intense on the football field, but he has got such a beautiful soft side. Yesterday, after their walkthrough, he met little boy Prosser Daniel, a little boy with cerebral palsy. He played with him, really enjoyed his time, and Prosser is a huge Dorsey fan. Guys, what makes it even more special is Dorsey himself, as a little boy, had to go for a year in metal braces on his legs, so he totally can relate, and the guys around here say he is so precious with the young boys.
It was such a sweet picture, wasn't it, Holly?
Look out.
Here's the return by Jones.
He dropped the ball. Boy, Chevis Jackson there to fall on it. Alertly for LSU.
Fortunate for the Tigers. Let's check in with Reese Davis, the Sports Center, 30-30.
All right, Mike, American League Championship Series not nearly as exciting as our game. We're 3 outs away from a Game 7. Boston beating up on Cleveland 12-2. All games on ESPN Radio, including the almost certain Game 7 coming up tomorrow night. NFL Dolphins going to be without Trent Green for the rest of the year. He's been placed on injured reserve with a concussion. More on that story coming up on Sports Center after the game. You can stay current with ESPN News anytime.
Well, you hope Trent's going to be all right. He's a fine quarterback and a fine guy. And you just don't want to see his long-term health jeopardized. Flynn takes over from the 31. Short set, wants the bomb. Bird. 15 down to the 9-yard line. Tackled by Powers. A perfect throw. 58 yards.
It was a perfect throw, and it was a throw on first down. He beat Gerard Powers right off the ball. He's got separation, and the ball is thrown perfectly over the outside shoulder, and Bird hangs on this time. He had a drop over the middle in the first half. This time he hangs on for a big play. More big plays in the second half out of the LSU passing game than they've had in the last few weeks.
A young man they were able to recruit out of Miami, Florida. Hester back in at tailback. The fullback, Jordan. Flynn for the end zone. Doucette can't hold it. Early Doucette with the dive, got a hand on it, couldn't bring it in.
I tell you what, Senderick Marks got too much pressure on that too. I mean, that's a quick 3-step drop. Your quarterback should be able to set his feet and make that throw, and Senderick Marks was right in there at the legs of Matt Flynn on that one. A little overthrown for early Doucette, but
Doucette can't have his conditioning back, not with a groin injury that's kept him out for 5 weeks.
This is really the first week that he's been full speed in practice.
It is a 1st and goal. Auburn showing blitz, and they come. Bird for Doucette, overthrown. Nice coverage by Gerard Powers.
Boy, oh boy. 2 plays down here in the red zone. 2 incomplete passes, and really neither one of them with a great chance of success. And now you're in a definite passing situation with 3rd down.
And Will Muschamp is saying, I'm coming after you in this situation. The lead is 7, late 3rd quarter, 3rd and goal. They'll bring 3 receivers to the right side. Doucette is the wide man.
Holiday's in the game. Might be an underneath screen to him. He's the far receiver at the bottom of the screen.
Flynn for the end zone, intended for Tolliver. He couldn't hold it. Patrick Lee with the coverage. It was right in between, actually, Tolliver and Bird as they crossed, but 3 incomplete passes into the end zone.
Yeah, you shouldn't have 2 guys going to the same spot like that. Something was wrong with the design there, or the interpretation there. Matt Flynn was backing up the whole time, kind of threw it to a spot in the back of the end zone, and you should really only have one of those guys getting to that spot.
Now Colton David for another chip shot field goal. He's already hit from 29. This is from 26. And he drills it through. Time now. Todd's taste of the town.
4 years ago, a pair of former basketball walk-ons here at LSU, Jack Warner and Brandon Landry, decided to open up a restaurant right down the street from Tiger Stadium. It just so happened I was here doing a game the very first football weekend it was open. And when I came to visit, these guys put a spread of food in front of me that knocked my socks off. That's kept me coming back every trip to Baton Rouge.
All right, let's see if Todd had to walk this meal off this weekend. It's light.
This is Southern Louisiana cuisine. I've got some crab claws sauteed in Creole garlic butter. I've got blackened gator, Louisiana alligator, but catfish Acadiana is my main dish when I come to walk-ons. It's blackened catfish smothered with some crawfish etouffee over a bed of rice. Yes, mister.
I've got to hand it to you. You have had large portions of food covered with gravy, large portions of food covered with sauce, large portions of food covered with ice cream. Now you got large portions of food covered with more food.
Well, I tell you, I mean, it's a great place. And, you know, Baton Rouge is a great place. I could probably go outside this stadium and find 20 tailgates that would be worthy of Todd's Taste of the Town. And Thursday night, I'm watching film in the football building, and the equipment manager, Greg Stringfellow, comes up and says, hey, you know, the guys are putting stickers on the helmet. Come on, some guy brought us some gumbo. I go down there. I had the best gumbo I've ever had in my life in the equipment room. The guys are putting stickers on the helmets, and a guy from the River Cafe down the road in another little town brought up some gumbo, and it was outstanding. So everywhere you go here in Baton Rouge, you can find some good food.
I can't eat down here because the food looks back at me, and I can't handle that. But you're good at it. I love Taste of the Town. That's great stuff. Auburn now leads by 4. Fannin up to the 24-yard line. Let's review, shall we? Here's what Todd has feasted on. I like the first one. That was the gravy stop.
Kind of set the tempo,
steak. And the sticky buns still superb. We got to get some more of those somehow. But you have had I mean, fish is healthy for you. You've done that a couple of weeks in a row. That's good.
And back-to-back catfish. You know, I had the fried catfish last week, and then this week the catfish Acadiana.
Fake to Lester. Good fake. Cox wide open. He'll run if he wants to. Slides up at the 31-yard line. Let's check in with Reese.
All right, Mike, check in on Virginia, Maryland. It was on ESPN2 and went to the wire. Mikel Simpson over the top for the Wahoos in the final half minute. Virginia wins it by 1. They've won their last 3 games by a grand total of 4 points. They're undefeated in the ACC. Oregon rolls double nickels and pulls away from Washington. Michigan beat Illinois without Mike Hart, and much of the night without Chad Henne.
All right, Reese, thanks very much. Big series here. You get the feeling that Auburn has really chipped away at the momentum, not just the score, down to a 4-point lead. What's going on with Dorsey, Holly?
Well, guys, they did an examination of his right knee, and they did those ligament tests that test for a torn ACL or MCL, that kind of a test. So far, it does not appear to be that severe. I saw them tell the trainers, let's keep him over here for a while. I'll let you know when I know more, guys, but initially, it seems to be not a devastating injury right now for Glenn Dorsey.
Boy, he's lucky. He's very lucky. Cox. Incomplete. That ball should have been caught by Hawthorne.
Nice pressure by Al Woods. And then Craig Stelz with the nice diving play. Here comes the pressure. Actually, it's Favorite with the pressure, and then Stelz dives in front of the intended receiver. They're doing it without their leader, Dorsey. They get the pressure they need, and then they get the senior in the back end, Stelz, that comes up with the deflection.
My apologies to Hawthorne. He shouldn't have caught that ball. It was Stelz's pretty defensive play. Jones is deep for Shoemaker's punt.
But Jones dropped it on the ground the last punt return.
Nice kick. Drive it. Does it again. Muffs it at the 15. And then just gets back to that spot. A 51-yard kick. Let's take you back to the earthquake game for tonight's Good Hands flashback presented by Allstate. October 9th, 1988, a minute 47 to go. LSU down by 6. Tommy Hodson to Eddie Fuller for the game winner. The crowd was so loud, the eruption registered on the seismograph located in the geology building across campus. LSU won it 7-6.
I ran into Tommy Hodson on Thursday when I was at Walk-Ons for lunch. Yeah, he was over there having lunch with a couple buddies.
Great college quarterback.
Sure was.
Flynn directing traffic, telling Charles Scott where he wants him to go. Short set, throws. Complete out to the 30. That'll be a first down. Another good catch by Tolliver, who only had 4 catches coming into this ball game for 100 yards. He was averaging 25 yards a catch. Big rangy kid, but he's been busy tonight.
Well, right now, if you're Matt Flynn, you just have to have confidence that if you just keep throwing it out there in the right spots, these guys are going to come down with the football. You know, they started in this third quarter to look good offensively. They hit some plays. They had 3 pass plays over 20 yards in the second half. In the third quarter, only 1 the whole first half. So just trust that they're going to make the plays when you throw it to them.
Scott, the sophomore, is the tailback. He'll get the carry. Burst through a gaping hole in the line. Breaking tackles out to the 45-yard line.
That's the way to end the quarter.
They're starting to celebrate in Baton Rouge as their Tigers are coming back. College football primetime presented by Hampton Hotels. Now, when you look at yourself in the mirror and you see that outfit and you still decide to wear it, you are a very courageous person.
A couple of proud mothers right now watching that.
Yeah.
If my dad were here, he'd say, you send him to school and you buy him books and they eat the covers.
I like you, Dad. LSU at its own 45, 1st and 10, down by 4. Trying to keep its national championship hopes alive. Flynn to the tight end Erickson. Excuse me, Dixon.
Eric Brock went for an interception, number 33. Richard Dixon, that's his 14th catch of the year. He's right here. He's going to get into the middle of the field and watch number 33, Eric Brock, go for the interception and not only not get the ball but miss a tackle and enable Dixon to cross upfield for more yardage. He goes for the play, misses it, and Dixon able to turn it in for about 10 more yards. A big pass and catch for Matt Flynn.
14th catch of the year for Richard Dixon out of Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Scott, the tailback. They go 1st and 10 from the 30. Flynn again. Dixon again. Down to the 25-yard line. Gain of 5. Let's go to Reese.
Mike, you guys know every week we honor the AT&T ESPN All-America Player of the Week. We'd like you to vote. Text the word VOTE to 87654 on your AT&T wireless phones. Check out the nominees, cast your vote, and register for a chance to win a trip to the national championship game in New Orleans in January.
2nd and 5, LSU marching.
LSU dominated the third quarter, 183 to 48 yards, but only 6 points to show for it.
Inside handoff to Holiday. The speedster around the corner. Breaks a tackle to the 5.
Showed a little strength, too. We know he's got the speed, but he showed a little strength to shake a couple tackles there. Watch Holiday.
160.
I thought he was going to go down right here by Etheridge. He breaks that tackle, breaks a second tackle by Powers. We saw him make a great defensive play on the fumble return. That was an outstanding run in the reverse. This guy is Mr. Excitement when he touches the football, averaging nearly 10 yards a touch, whether it's as a return, receiver, or runner.
Fastest 100 meters in school history. They say he might be the fastest player in college football. They go to the shotgun. 1st and goal from the 8. Flynn in trouble. Now he throws over the middle and it's dropped. Doucette had it hit him right in the chest.
This was a nice job by Matt Flynn avoiding the quick rush. Now again on a screen, those linemen release and try to get downfield, and Matt Flynn had to double clutch on it and still was able to get it in a good position to do set, but not able to come up with it.
Now they're going to roll the dice again. They've got Perilou coming onto the field on 2nd and goal from the 8. He has certainly come in some huge situations.
I got to believe he's going to run it here. He just needs to protect the football. And every time he's come in so far, it hasn't made a huge difference for LSU.
Perilou on the keeper, down to the 5.
You just get the feeling, too, that LSU needs a touchdown. They've moved the ball. They've dominated in yardage. They've got things going in the right direction, got their crowd back in it. But they haven't been able to score a touchdown here in their last couple of offensive possessions.
The yardage really mounting up for LSU here in the second half.
Play clock down inside of 8 seconds again for Matt Flynn. Critical 3rd down. You're fighting the play clock, too.
Flynn gets it. Play action fake. Flag is down. Flynn throws right to the goal line. No signal. Now late signal for a touchdown. But check out the penalty as Hester made the catch. But I think it's coming back.
Well, I think it's going to be not enough men on the line of scrimmage or an illegal formation against LSU.
Every time Perilou has gone out and Flynn comes back in to run the regular offense, they seem to have had a miscue with getting a play in late or not being able to run the play correctly.
No, it's you know, you bring him in to try to change the tempo.
Previous play is under further review.
What's the penalty pen? That's what we need to know here first. Matt Flynn on the naked bootleg does a nice job of getting the ball to Hester. Now, does he get in or not? Reaches the ball for the pylon.
Looked like it.
It sure looked like it. It was a tremendous effort. You saw the strength. Those big hands weren't going to let go of that football as he reached for the pylon.
Now, the penalty is actually more important than the review of the touchdown.
I think so. He didn't step out of bounds. His knee didn't touch. That's a touchdown. That's a wonderful effort by Jacob Hester.
So the penalty is either against Auburn and it's a touchdown, or against LSU and it comes back. So what is the penalty call?
Yeah, we still haven't heard what the penalty call is yet.
But it seems like virtually every play that Perilou has left the field and Flynn's come back in, they have been late getting the play in, and it's really caused them a problem.
Well, and it was funny because I talked to Tommy Tuberville on the field before the game, and his observation was he thought that it hurt LSU, the 2-quarterback system. Now, everybody knows Florida won a national championship last year using 2 quarterbacks. Chris Leak was the starter. Tim Tebow came off the bench, gave them a spark, gave them a different change of pace kind of guy. And a lot of teams have tried to do that this year. And I understand Ryan Perilou is a tremendously gifted quarterback. And when Matt Flynn moves on next year, he'll be the guy. But I haven't seen the evidence in this game, and this is the only game I've done of LSU, where when he's come in, it's given them a real positive value. He had the 1 turnover on the fumble. He almost threw an interception when he tried to make a play. Part of the problem, I think, for Ryan Perilou, he's very talented, and he's a big play kind of guy. And when you only come in 1 play here and then, you know, maybe another play there, you have a tendency as a quarterback to think, okay, this is my shot, man. I got to make a big play.
Right.
And you have a chance. Sometimes you don't just play within yourself or within the play, and you try to make something happen, and you force something.
All right, they are still reviewing this play, but the key part of it is what was the penalty?
First of all, there is no foul on the play.
There we go.
There were 7 men on the line of scrimmage. The results of the play is a touchdown. It's controlled.
That may have just registered on the seismograph again across campus. And I'll tell you what, that man's reaction may have registered as well.
Well, the question was whether there were 7 men on the line of scrimmage or not.
Well, somebody thought there wasn't because he threw the flag.
Yeah. There's one receiver and 6 linemen who are on the line of scrimmage according to the officials, and the touchdown stands for LSU.
Colt David for the point after. And 4th-ranked LSU has taken the lead, 20-17 over Auburn.
BM presents the 25 greatest players ever. Number 18, Jim Brown. Brown was a 3-sport star at Syracuse and excelled in football as a senior. Despite playing in only 8 games, he finished as the nation's 3rd leading rusher, then went on to score 3 touchdowns in the 1957 Cotton Bowl. IBM, getting it done.
The legendary number 44, who was supposed to be also the best lacrosse player that ever lived. Had been the best football player that ever lived, too. It's going to be interesting to see in the college game who are the next 17 guys that the panel of experts said were better than Dick Butkus and Jim Brown.
I bet they'd like to find the panelists, too.
Jeez. Don't let Butkus find them. Fannin to the 25. Collared and taken out at the 27-yard line.
Let's go back to the touchdown. Now, here are 6 guys on the line. The guy in question is this guy right here, the wide receiver. Is he the 7th guy on the line of scrimmage? If that blue line's the line of scrimmage, then he's not, technically, because Richard Dixon, number 82, is going to go in motion. He's going to stay off the line. So the play was run with 6 guys on the line of scrimmage instead of 7. The flag was picked up, and it is not a reviewable situation either way. The crowd doesn't want to hear that, though.
Oh, no. Tate picks up about 5 across the 30 before Beckwith makes the tackle. Here's Holland.
Well, Todd, I have a feeling that Coach Will Muschamp of Auburn, the defensive coordinator, and Tommy Tuberville, the head coach, might concede with your explanation there because they were livid. Muschamp went nuts at the official during that last time out there, and then Tommy Tuberville came out, and he had a lengthy, very spirited discussion with the official, too, guys. They were trying to get that play overturned, talking, but to no avail.
Yeah. It's a tough call to go against them. I mean, I don't know that they would have stopped the touchdown. I mean, because the guy in question was on the other side of the ball.
Fannin again, not this time. Or Tate, rather, Luke Sanders nailed him as he got maybe a yard. Well, you're seeing some bring up a big 3rd down.
And you're seeing some backups. Drake Davis, number 92, involved in that play. A freshman defensive lineman. Again, Glenn Dorsey still on the sideline. There's big Drake Nevis in there.
Dorsey has been in and out of the lineup. Tyson Jackson, the left defensive end, is out with back spasms. So LSU playing short-handed right now. Brandon Cox trying to keep the drive alive. Throws that one incomplete. Shipus Jackson came up and knocked it away from Preche Rodriguez. What a play by Jackson. Glad you could join us on a Saturday night from Baton Rouge. There is no place like Tiger Stadium, and it has been a terrific game, just as we thought it would be. Number 17 Auburn, number 4 LSU. LSU has come from behind to take the lead here in the 4th quarter. Auburn this half, 4 drives, 4 punts. They have only registered 2 first downs. Count them, 2. Jones. Fair catch made at the 29-yard line. 39-yard kick, no return. Monday Night Football, it's Peyton Manning and the Colts against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Monday on ESPN starts at 8:30 Eastern. Our coverage begins at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown. And the Jaguars have one of the top defenses in the NFL. They are probably the most physical team in the entire league, and they will have to face the master.
Now, And we see college quarterbacks that work at the line of scrimmage, but nobody does it like this guy. I mean, Tom Moore is the offensive coordinator. Tom was my quarterback coach when I played with the Steelers, and but Peyton Manning pretty much does it on the field.
Yes, he does.
He calls the game from the field.
Hester breaks a tackle, 45, 48-yard line. Blackman finally got him down, but this guy is just nails.
Well, they've got different backs. They keep them fresh. We've seen 3 backs for Auburn. We've seen 3 or 4 for LSU. So now here we are in the 4th quarter. Jacob Hester still running with fresh legs.
Boy, and he seems to get drilled every time, too. Takes his share of hits and comes right back. LSU trying to continue the carnage of the second half. Flynn gets it out to Doucette. Good block downfield, and early Doucette gets a first down. Terrence Tolliver has been a blocking machine tonight when he hasn't been catching the ball.
And you don't normally see freshmen wide receivers, guys right out of high school, that block on the outside. They're only used to catching the ball. Watch Terrence Tolliver, number 80, just lock his man up, keep his hands inside, and open up more space for Doucette. That is beautiful work with his hands inside and just being tenacious, just staying with it. Terrence Tolliver from Hempstead, Texas, for his 2nd big block today.
Second, less than a yard. Nice play fake by Flynn. Hit as he throws. Complete downfield to the 25. Doucette makes the catch again. Boy, they're sharp now.
They are. And Matt Flynn is showing you that when he is healthy, he can really throw with some accuracy. Knows he's going to get hit. Right in there on top of him is Sims. He hangs in there and hits Doucette with his 5th catch of the second half. In the first half, he had 1 catch for 0 yards. That's his 5th catch for over 80 yards now in the second half.
Well, they are cooking in the second half, and Flynn stood in there knowing a 316-pound tackle was going to drill him. Now Flynn on the keeper takes another shot down to the 23. Here's Holly.
Well, guys, Jimbo Fisher, the longtime offensive coordinator that left LSU this year, told me last year that Matt Flynn is a guy who has more talent than Matt Mock, one of the really revered quarterbacks here at LSU. He said this is a guy who has NFL skill and pro skill. He should be able to play on Sunday. His only problem in his career, he got behind a guy named Jamarcus Russell, who was a rare and unique talent, guys, but they believe he's very talented and can go pro, when he wants to.
Well, he has certainly bided his time. He's been a good team player, and he's really helped them. Perilou comes back in, and Perilou has been unable to do anything tonight. Now, here's where the problem has come. When Flynn has come back out on the field for Perilou, they've been very late at getting the plays in, and it's cost them a lot of trouble. They burned 2 timeouts because of it.
Well, they're coming in right now. The play clock hasn't started, so they should be in good shape. There's still 25 seconds. They just now started to run it down, so this time they shouldn't have a problem. Will Muschamp thinks very highly of Matt Flynn, too. He just thought the last couple weeks watching him on film, he looked like he was not throwing with the same kind of authority that he knows he can throw with, having seen him in practice. But I think that's more the result of the ankle injury than anything else, because he's throwing it with authority tonight.
That timeout called by the Auburn Tigers. 20-17 LSU. If you say, hey, kitty, kitty around these parts, you better be prepared for what you're about to get. That's Mike the Sixth, the LSU mascot. They have a huge habitat for him. What a beautiful creature.
Well, early Doucette has made a difference for LSU tonight. Just his presence has really picked up this passing game for LSU.
Huge play here, 3rd and 9. Flynn throws underneath. Doucette broke a tackle. He needed to get inside the 15 for a first down. It's going to be short. If they go for the field goal, it would give them a 6-point lead. But you know who is coaching LSU? Les Miles says fourth down calls are a feel.
Well, they're going to kick this one. His feel is, let's not kill our momentum. We've been dominating here in the second half. Our defense has settled into the game. Let's extend our lead to 6.
This would be a 33-yard try for Colt David. Hit from 26, 29, and now 33. A lot was made of Miles making all those fourth down calls against Florida, but those were different circumstances. Not only did he think he needed a score, he didn't want to give Florida the ball back either. Welcome back to Death Valley. And it's LSU and Auburn fighting for a share of first place in the SEC West. Alabama already at 4-1 and watching.
Yeah. You know, I want to get back to, you made a great point about why maybe Les Miles goes for the field goal this time, and in the Florida game went for the touchdown to keep the ball away from Florida's offense. Right now, I think they feel their defense has Auburn's offense under wraps. First half, Auburn 169 yards of offense, only 54 yards of offense in the second half. So take the points and let your defense keep doing its thing.
Fannin and Lester are deep. Lester from the 3. Crunched at the 17.
But Chad Jones, he's an athlete now. This is a guy who's a freshman, 6'3", 218 pounds, out of Baton Rouge Southern Lab High School. Was a 13th round baseball draft pick of the Astros. Is going to join the baseball team as an outfielder this spring. Very, very talented, athletic guy.
And they have played some pretty good baseball
Yes,
down here. Athletic director Skip Bertman, the former baseball coach, who rang up a series of national championships. Does Auburn have more late game heroics in store? Caught at the 25. Smith made the grab in spite of a dive by Chevis Jackson. Boy, he has been tough as a corner tonight, but Smith is a big-time receiver.
Yeah, did a great job of going down underneath that ball, shielding Jackson away from the ball with his body. Rod Smith has had kind of a quiet night tonight, but he hasn't had a quiet season for Auburn.
Neither has Brandon Cox, especially at this stage of the game. He has been spectacular down the stretch during their winning streak. Cox with time, throws this one, and incomplete. Hawthorne spun around.
What are they calling
It's
here?
going to be interference. McCray and Stelz were there. Let's see who it's on.
The only thing I think it might be is a helmet-to-helmet hit by Stelz, because I don't know that that was interference.
Whatever the call is, the crowd doesn't like it already. And that's what it's going to be, a personal foul, not interference.
I mean, it was great defense, and the free safety, Stelz, coming over to help at the end of the play. Well, yeah, he did hit him up high.
Holy
the
cow.
Field judge with the penalty in great position. Stelz comes in, helmet to helmet. Right there is the call.
Personal foul. Number 16 on the defense. Helmet to helmet contact. The play was incomplete. The result of the 15-yard penalty, previous spot. First down.
Another seismograph moment as Les Miles unloads, but what a shot by Stelz.
Last week, LSU in the loss to Kentucky in triple overtime, 13 penalties for a season high 103 yards. That one, you know, a good physical play, but the right call.
The rule is the rule. Cox, another good play, faking a throw to the sideline to Smith. Gets it out of bounds at the 40-yard line. There's something about Brandon Cox. The game is on the line. All at once, he becomes Johnny Unitas. Everything is right on the money.
And that time, they did a great job of baiting Chevis Jackson. He's been breaking hard on the quick routes. They took a quick drop and pump fake, and Chevis Jackson came flying up, and then they threw it right over his head for the completion. That's a good job by Al Borges saying, you know what, this corner is squatting on our short routes too hard. Let's try to loosen them up a little bit.
Under 7 minutes to go. Lester, big hole. Picks up 7, maybe 8. Here's Holly.
Well, guys, offensive coordinators always tell you they want a calm, even-keeled guy under center, a quarterback. And Brandon Cox is certainly that. In fact, we've kind of joked around this season. He's done the starting lineups for us, and he's kind of boring. But when we talk to Brandon after 2 game-winning drives, guys, in the last 3 weeks, that's exactly what's helping him win these games. He doesn't get rattled. He doesn't get nervous. And the guys really feed off of how cool and collected he is in the huddle.
You know, he reminds me of David Green, who was a great quarterback at Georgia, had a great road record also. And then that demeanor and that coolness under pressure really plays well, especially on the road. Lee Zimba, the right
penalty
tackle,
flags down everywhere. That'll cost him 5. You don't really think of Brandon Cox in this regard, as here's the penalty call.
False start. 73 on the offense, penalty 5 yards, down 97.
But he is number 4 all-time in passing yards at Auburn. He's only a couple of 100 yards short of Pat Sullivan, who's the most revered guy that ever played there.
Well, it's just great to see the way he's turned his season around. I mean, his last year, his senior year, you live for that senior year as a player, and it just started out so poorly. Lost 2 of his first 3 games, but he has really taken control of his last season and has played well down the stretch.
Cox can run if he wants. Gets out of bounds at the 33-yard line. They have to get just inside the 30 for a first down. This could very well be 4-down territory.
Glenn Dorsey still on the sideline for LSU. All he can do is watch his defensive teammates.
Let's go to Holly.
Guys, it's just an initial evaluation, but so far it's good news. Glenn Dorsey diagnosed with a sprained right knee, guys, so that's a positive.
Sprain is better than a tear, isn't it? 3rd and 3. Lester is the tailback. Lester in the flat, wide open. Makes one man miss, has a first down and more.
That's what
Lester dances inside the 25.
That's what Al Borges just said about this guy. He is hard to tackle in space. It was a little bit of a delay. He was a little delayed coming out of the backfield. Brandon Cox knew he was going there with the football. But watch him, he makes one guy miss. He's hard to tackle out in open field. Shevis Jackson is an excellent football player. He got left in the dust right there.
Brandon Cox did a nice job at not staring him down.
Look it downfield and then dump it off to the back.
Another late game drive by the Auburn Tigers. They have reached the LSU 23. Cox again, blitz coming. Cox with time, throws incomplete. Hawthorne had it knocked away. Curtis Taylor, what a play. Got a piece, and is a little slow to get up.
Well, it was a great play by Curtis Taylor, and it was a great play by Chaz Ramsey, the right guard for Auburn, picking up the blitz from the outside. That enabled Cox to even make this throw. The ball was slightly thrown behind the receiver, and Curtis Taylor made a nice play.
If you don't get the touchdown here, you would have options with 4:53 to go. Down by 2 field goals, or are you looking touchdown? Cox, good protection over the middle. Lester, 15, inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. 1st and goal. Stelz made the saving tackle. Holy cow.
Well, this is just a little option route. And watch Lester. He's going to come out and work on the linebacker, Luke Sanders, number 35. He comes back into your screen. He's separated from Luke Sanders. That's a bit of a mismatch with Brad Lester working against that linebacker. He's got excellent receiving skills, and they have gotten their money's worth out of Brad Lester tonight.
That takes a little bit of time to run that pattern. You better have some protection, and he did. 75 yards on the drive. 1st and goal at the LSU 8. Tate inside the 5, near the 3.
What an impressive draw. This is unbelievable. I mean, they have just, and again, we've seen Auburn the last couple weeks, and when it matters, when it counts, they have done nothing in the second half. 64 yards of offense in the second half before this drive.
If you say to Brandon Cox, this is it, we win or lose on this drive, this kid takes him down every time so far.
I'll tell you what, having Brad Lester on this team has made a huge difference. He has made big play after big play when they've needed it.
Clock running. Cox goes to the shotgun, 2nd and goal from the 3. Cox, stop fade, touchdown, Rodriguez-Smith. What a throw by Brandon Cox.
It was a great throw, and it was a bad decision by Chevis Jackson. Watch 21. He's going to try to go for the interception. He cuts in front, and he leaves the tall receiver in the back. It was a high throw by Brandon Cox. It went over Jackson, and Smith makes the catch. Perfect throw to the corner of the end zone.
Hats off to Brandon Cox. Wow. He's done it every time we've seen him this year, and we've seen him a bunch. Byram for the lead. Just got it through. And I mean just. An 83-yard drive, but time left for LSU. We've seen fantastic finishes in the SEC over the last few weeks. We've got another one coming your way from LSU. Another lousy night in the SEC. It's 24-23. Auburn over LSU. Holy cow, what a ball game. Williams and Holiday, both with great speed, are deep for LSU. A field goal would win the game. They got to get there first, and here is a squib kick taken by one of the up men. He gets it. I don't either.
I mean, they've done that all night.
42, and now you have given them a situation. They go 35 yards. It's a field goal.
Yeah, they've done that all night, and that one was the shortest one. I mean, by now LSU is ready for it, and they return it all the way out to the 45 or the 42.
And there's certainly plenty of time.
Yeah.
Even though LSU only has 1 timeout, they have 3:13 on the game clock. That was odd. I understand why you don't want to kick to those 2 blazers.
Right.
But there are times where you got to do something you may not want to do. Flynn. Now it's his turn to be a hero. Under pressure. Gets a block downfield, and Flynn picks up almost 10 yards into Auburn territory at the 47. Quentin Groves got it.
I'm going to go back to the Auburn touchdown and show you something. Now, Chevis Jackson is going to make contact with Smith. And now right here, he looks back. So he knows that the quarterback's coming his way. But he's going to make a decision to come underneath it, anticipating Cox won't make a perfect throw. But he does. He threw it just high enough to get over Jackson for the touchdown. Just a beautiful throw to that part of the field. Yeah, that was pretty.
It was a beautiful drive, the whole thing. Another run out of bounds at the 42, and Flynn has dodged pressure 2 plays in a row.
And see, a couple weeks ago, Matt Flynn couldn't do this. After he hurt his ankle in the Virginia Tech game, and it was a significant ankle injury, he didn't have his mobility. When they played Tulane, he got sacked 6 times. Now, he's too mobile of a guy to get sacked 6 times, but he didn't have that natural mobility. Well, he's got it back now for the first time since early in the season. And he's showing it here on a couple plays, getting away from pressure and turning a negative into a positive.
He's run the ball 9 times tonight for 31 yards. They've reached the Auburn 42, 2nd and about 5. Flynn again, pressure coming, batted down at the line of scrimmage. That one right off the big hands of Senderick March, who came up the middle and then jumped. They are not in field goal range yet. This you have to believe is 4-down territory, especially with only one timeout left.
Derek Marks, number 94, has just played a whale of a game tonight. He gets his hands on the football, knew he couldn't get to the quarterback, got his hands up.
How's that for balance?
Yeah.
He goes over one guy who's on the ground, fights off another block, and then leaps at the right time.
He was a tackle last year. They moved him out to end, and he has been a disruptive force for the Auburn defense all year.
3rd and 5, Flynn in the gun. Going to run the option. And they are going to be very close to a first down. Brock made the tackle. Holy cow.
This looked like it was going to be for bigger yardage. Matt Flynn reads the option. He's forced to pitch by Antonio Coleman. It looks like he's going to pick up a block to get the first down. But Brock comes up with a huge hit. He got a pretty favorable spot on that play, too. I don't know if it's enough, but he got a good spot.
He should be about 2 lengths of the football short. Instead, it is a first down. That is challengeable.
That was a favorable spot for LSU because it looked like where
2/3 of a yard at least.
He goes airborne. He comes down. Right there, the ball is down, and then he kind of bounces forward. Close.
Tell you what, that was short. But if they get the snap off, it makes no difference. Flynn on the option again. The pitch back to Murphy with all that speed. Murphy out of bounds at the 35. They are still not within field goal range, at least not a comfortable try for Colt David, who's long this season is 38 yards.
And last week in the loss in Lexington, he had a 57-yard attempt at the end of regulation that could have won it. It was long enough, but it was just slightly wide left. He has a very strong leg, but certainly you want to get into a more comfortable situation for a potential game-winning field goal.
10 more yards would give him the try from about 42 yards, which is comfortable for most good kickers.
And LSU only with one timeout left because they had to blow a couple of those early in the 3rd quarter.
Hester is back in at tailback. He gets the toss. Hester, first down. Tell you what, if it's down in the clutch, that's the guy I want to have the football.
I agree with you. He's sure-handed. Coming into tonight, 230 career carries without a fumble. He's dependable. He's strong. He's fearless. And because they've rotated their backs tonight, he's fresh right now at this point in the game when you need him to get tough yardage.
From here, it would be a 42, 43-yard try. Flynn again on the option. Almost bent double as he gets to the 23. Every yard you get closer, the better your chances are. The clock continues to run.
We mentioned LSU with one timeout. Auburn, as you can see right here with our line, 2 timeouts. When do they start using their timeouts?
Florida won a national championship last year with 1 loss. LSU lost its first game last week. Their national championship hopes are still alive. They need to score here. The pass underneath caught by the tight end down to the 22-yard line. Dixon made the catch. Brock with the tackle. It would be about 40 on a field goal try from here. And Brock comes up gimping.
Tommy Tuberville is standing out on the field. I think he's trying to decide when to use a timeout. It doesn't look like they're going to. It looks like they're going to just count on Colt David not making a field goal or save those timeouts to freeze the kicker instead of trying to stop the clock for his own offense.
3rd and 7. And Flynn is back to throw for the end zone.
Tell Matt Flynn, don't take take a sack, give it a shot, throw it up and outside. If we don't catch it, nobody does. He made a perfect throw. What a call. Wow.
But look at the clock. If that ball is incomplete, they lose.
Oh, my gosh, you're right.
They lose. Are you kidding?
You're right. I got so caught up watching the play, I didn't even see where that clock ended up.
So did I. They had a timeout, didn't use it, throw the ball in the end zone when they had a shot at a 40-yard field goal. Oh, man.
The clock is running. It's 7. The ball's released. He catches it. If he even bobbles that, the clock runs out. My goodness.
Wow. Cutting it a little fine, are we?
I don't know if he thought that Auburn was going to call a timeout or what, but at a certain point, they just lined up and snapped the football.
Well, here's the situation. If that ball is incomplete, you have a timeout in your pocket when a field goal would have won the game, and you have blown it, and everything's gone. Your season is done.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the logic would say you call the timeout, call that play, and run it and tell your quarterback, don't take a sack. If it's not there, throw it quick. Wow.
Holy cow. LSU under Les Miles, one comeback after another. Tonight in the fourth quarter, they were down by 4.
Man, I can't get over that.
That is unbelievable. Matt Flynn, a career high, 319 yards. Well, they say he looks a lot like Matt Damon. He played like a star tonight. Man, oh man. I've never seen that, ever. I don't know if my heart could stand to see it again either. This crowd is stunned. This is the home team. And now Auburn is going to be reduced to just trying to lateral the ball. They can't do it. LSU has won it on a miracle finish with so many edges to it.
And you might think, well, if Auburn wasn't expecting that, maybe you just sneak one in, but they were in good position on the play.
Yes, they were.
They took a shot at it, and Auburn was right there on coverage, and it just worked for LSU.
Here's Holly Rowe.
Coach, you call timeout. What happened next? Take us through that process, your decision there.
On what?
The last touchdown.
On the last touchdown, well, we knew we had an opportunity. We wanted to take a shot at 7, and they hadn't covered Bird the whole time. And then we knew that we'd have the opportunity to kick thereafter. So touchdown, then here we go.
Were you worried about the clock with 1 second left if you get time to kick?
Timeout. We didn't lose our last timeout. We could call timeout right after that. So no, absolutely not. Felt like we 18 seconds, 16 seconds on the clock. We're in great shape.
How do you describe this team on pressure situation after pressure situation?
Well, I want you to know something. This football team has been through that last game was 90-some plays, offense and defense, and it was a wearing situation. For them to come in here and muster the comeback in the second half, got great character. It tells a lot about this team.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Todd, they're going to go back and look at the tape of this and go, whoa, we cut that one just a little close, didn't we?
The last time Les Man looked at the clock, it said 16 seconds, but when that ball was snapped, it said 6. Big difference.
And when it was over, it said 1. LSU wins it. SportsCenter coming up next over on ESPN News Post-Game Extra. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching. Good night from Baton Rouge.